extraordinary experiment that gave birth to scanners. Their powers were the most terrifying ever. 10 years later, here is Scanners 2, The New Order.
Okay, everybody freeze!
I'm gonna suck you dry, pretty boy.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Hope you enjoyed last week's interview with actor Russell Yuen. Man, Russell was just so much fun. It's so fascinating to hear about the growing up in Canada, you know, basically like the junior college everybody has to go to. And then from that, he was going to be pre-med, but he needed one class to fill his schedule, and it was acting, and the rest is history. He's been acting ever since then. He had some great stories from his career. Probably one of my favorite ever is the fact that Gene Hackman cracked his ribs. But there's a lot more to go to that story. So if you haven't listened to that, make sure after this week's review, you go back and check it out. Now, for the movie that Russell was in, a movie that the original movie, I know that movie as in, like, not obviously like GIFs weren't bigger when I was younger, but there was always like those horror movie like VHS tapes that had like the best special effects scenes. That was one that you always see. Everybody thinks about. It's like a gift, you know. It's something that everyone knows, but I don't remember what the movie was about. I think I actually mixed it with Network because he's in that room with us. Head explodes. But so we covered Scanners 2, The New Order. And man, Jamie knows what I'm going to say next because I'm sending him telepathy like in this movie. And but yeah, before I talk anything Scanners 2 and Mind Fights, I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I am okay, Doug. How are you doing?
Pretty good. So like this movie, we were kind of talking about it before we started recording. It's another movie just like the one we covered like Guyver 2. Like I was not expecting, like even from that famous Scanners clip of Ironside blowing the guy's head up, I would not know what that movie's about. That could be like anything. So the fact that this movie is basically like mind fighting.
Okay. You know, I went into this movie blind, not having a clue.
Lucky you.
Well, I wish I had temporary blindness watching the movie because, you know, like we're definitely on a roll this year. You know, I think, you know, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think this is the longest spurt of awful movies in a row.
Wow.
That we're doing. And I think there's a new guy or a new character that's being added to my most annoying, you know, like Brian Ryan, you know, list.
Ryan has some company.
Oh, the bad guy in this movie. What's his name? Kaz or Raz or
Oh yeah. I think there's a lot of candidates for that. It could be Forrester, who looks like he looks like the Nobody Beats the Wiz guy from that Elaine dates in Seinfeld.
It's just, you know, okay. First of all, the overacting in this movie, the facial expressions, like if you take out all the pausing of like actual dialogue,
yes,
and you just put a clip of just the facial close-ups and the faces they're making, you're gonna save about 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
like just the bad guy. He's like Jim Carrey. like he's like an evil Jim Carrey in this movie because he's making these faces that are just so over the top that it's like I couldn't stand him. And he starts the movie off and he ends in the movie. Like it's like he's there. Like I thought he was only be in the beginning, and no, he's there through the whole movie. And I hated him. Yeah,
he's like an evil version of that. He's like an evil version of that pizza delivery driver in Stranger Things. Oh, that actor who's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But man, dude, like I know so many pauses, but I think the funniest thing about this movie, Deborah Raffin, she passed away at a young age. I forgot what she passed away, but I think she passed away like the mid-90s, early 90s.
Who's that, the girlfriend?
No, his sister.
Oh,
his long lost sister.
yeah.
We've
okay.
covered 3 of her movies, and I bet you, if like she was live and we were like, oh yeah, we covered 3 of her movies. I don't even know her other movies. I'm sure she's probably in some like Oscar-winning movie, but Death Wish 3, this movie, and then a forgotten film that sat in a can until 2022, Grizzly 2.
Grizzly.
She's the main girl in that movie.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even realize that. Yeah. Okay. There's so many problems with this movie. I mean, like so many. I mean, one of my biggest problems, right off the bat, is the relationship between the main guy and the girl.
Yeah,
because
man.
I just want to know, how long have they known each other? Because clearly, the first time we see them, they never met before.
It seems that way, right? They're in class together.
Well, she's asking, what's his major? Okay. So
yeah. So no. So let's talk about, what's the opening scene?
Well, the opening scene is the annoying character who goes to the arcade. First of all, okay. So the opening scene is this guy is weirdo, who's kind of like, he's acting like he's on drugs, right? You don't know what his deal is.
David. David's in the beginning scene?
He's in the beginning scene.
Oh, I thought he was just
gets
in
arrested
traffic after something happened.
No. Because he goes to an arcade. Remember, he goes to the arcade, which he goes to an arcade that's in the middle of a dark alley. So what parent?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So what parent is sending their kids to an arcade in a dark alley that looks like the typical dark alley where something terrible is going to happen? Like this is the alley where
it's a bar / kids arcade.
It is, but just to get there, it's like one of those side doors that's like hidden, and it's an alley where someone's gonna jump out, rob you, kill you, do something. That's the kind of alley it is, and that's where this arcade is. Okay.
Yeah. No. Now, not to mention, but that's not David in the beginning of the movie.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Well, no. It's the bad guy. It's the annoying guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah. No. So it's the annoying guy that goes to the arcade. There's no one there watching him as he's standing over children in this the kids are playing games and he's literally maybe 2 feet from them and like staring and making faces and no one questions that this guy, first of all, again, looks like he's either drunk or on drugs.
Looks crazy. Yeah.
He looks crazy. And you're at this arcade that, again, like a bar arcade. There's a lot of crazy things that happen in this scene where people just stand around and watch. Yeah. No one is concerned about anything that's going on.
And how about the end part of it? How cartoony it gets when he puts his arms up in the air and it's like he's at a concert and there's fireworks explosion behind him. He's
playing a video game where he's mind controlling, which
I know.
Okay. All right, hold on. So scanners can mind control people, but they can mind control video games too?
Great question. Because what's funny? I forgot about that part, that was introduced, because later in the movie I thought of that. Because when they're, instead of making the cop on the motorcycle that's chasing him at the end of the movie, instead of making that guy explode or fly off, all that happens is the handles shake. So I'm thinking that I would think if they can control the bike and machines like a maximum overdrive, couldn't they just hit brake and it breaks? It should be that easy.
Yeah, but they don't really fully explain what these scanners can do, because it doesn't make sense that they can control people, but then they also can control machines.
The machine thing, no joke, I forgot about it, because later in the movie I kept thinking about that. Why isn't he controlling this or dropping the ceiling? None of that happened in this movie.
No, I know. So, but again, but he has a crowd standing around watching the arcade gun shooting the using and it's shaking and spinning. No one is concerned. No one's saying anything. They're just watching. Wow, this is cool.
That's free show. We get a free show at this kids arcade bar.
That's their reaction.
Come on down to the kids arcade bar.
and then he tosses a guy. Okay. So they can mind control people, but they can also physically pick them up and move them with their mind. So he throws the
I
guy.
know.
Again, it almost seems like they can do anything. Like
They pretty much
'cause-
can. That's why it's weird that in some situations they're like stuck and they don't know what to do, or it takes a while for, because in the beginning part, like how does your strength work as a scanner? Is it like
correct.
the Jedi mind trick? You can only do it for
Right.
so long, or
Right.
is there sometimes you have more powers than others? Because David whoops his ass earlier in the movie, then in the movie he can't do anything.
He
Like,
can't do
what's-
anything.
why?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that made no sense at all. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So and again, he throws a guy at the arcade. Now, if you're there, one, you're watching this video game go out of control without anyone touching it. Then you see this guy just being tossed without being touched. You're still going to stand around? Like like one, no one went to check on the guy to see if he's okay. But two, people are standing there like that's normal. Like as soon as the guy goes flying, I'm out of there. Like I'm not even waiting. And they just seem to like
Nope, check.
just
I'm walking out.
That's it.
You know what's funny? I didn't even write it down, the fact that he would be like throwing people. The reason I walk out, I wrote he looked like a caveman. Like he looked like a Neanderthal.
He does.
He had like
He
a
does.
big forehead and like
Yes.
big bushy eyebrows. And I'm like, that was like the freaky part. Like seeing him hover behind the kids while they were playing the games. Yeah. But that whole
creep.
scene is insane. And then from there we meet Forrester for the first time. After
Who's
the
Forrester?
cops show up and grab him. Forrester's
Well,
the guy who looks like Red Foreman.
Yeah, okay. But first he goes to the warehouse. The creep. Right? He goes to the warehouse of mannequins.
Oh yeah, he gets out. Oh yeah,
Okay,
dude.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So are there warehouses filled with mannequins like that? Like, what are they waiting for?
They must be, because in Mannequin 2, we saw that they have a mannequin destroying machine.
But Mannequin 2, they were at the department store that had, I guess, their old mannequins, so they had to get rid of them. Like, this is a warehouse that is storing, like hanging all these mannequins all around. Like, that just seemed weird. Like, is there a big business for mannequins?
I don't know. I would think once you buy a mannequin, it's got to last a long time, unless somebody.
Of course.
Unless you.
And how many mannequins are you selling?
17-year-old trying to kiss the mannequin, trying to bring it to life.
Well, I would also think that they have a lot of the mannequins are kind of like not made to order, but like they're not just making them, mass producing them, and then having them sit around. Like you get an order, and then it just seemed like it was dark, and it just seemed like a weird thing to have just a warehouse filled with nothing but mannequins. There was nothing else in there.
I can understand that, like a section for the arm, section for the left leg, right?
right.
Because when you get that phone call, then you put it together. All right, you need 5? Okay, guys, you need 5. You walk
that's
around.
what I would picture, like baskets filled with arms, baskets filled with heads, and the torsos. But these are like full mannequins, all lined up.
And not in like a neat way, just like thrown. They were like leaning on the wall.
Yeah,
like,
Well, it was definitely a creepy kind of like warehouse. So yeah.
that was. And then the one guy was right. Remember the one cop was really old. I feel like one of the guys was really old.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was. And then again, the other cop, you said, the main cop. Here's a question I have, because he shows up in a raincoat and it's not raining. But in every movie, you always see like the main guy, the main detective, come on wearing a raincoat all the time. like the main detective is always wearing. You ever notice that? Like they always have that long like rain. Always, but it's not raining, and he wears it the entire movie. He does not take that jacket off. He wears that raincoat from beginning to end of the movie.
He won't have time to put it on. So once he puts it on, he doesn't have to worry about, it's raining, I got to put it on. He's always ready for action.
Oh, so he's ready for the rain.
Oh my God, that guy was another. We need the most detective-looking guy. Who do you got?
100% that he's like the most detective-looking guy. Yeah. I mean, if you look at his IMDb, you know
anyone down. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he looks. In reality, he looks the least type of detective because he's not chasing anyone. He looks like the guy that will have a coffee in one hand and a donut in the other. Like like that's the body type and type of guy that he is. You could tell.
Yeah. Did you like the name of the warehouse? Did you see what that was?
Oh no.
So when he ran in, it said Rick's Warehouse. So Rick, this man Rick, owns all these mannequins, or someone's paying a man named Rick to store my mannequin. Okay, can I store my mannequin? Yeah, sure, man. Store wherever you want. Here's the keys.
Okay, if you're gonna be in the mannequin business, wouldn't you think like a more catchy name than Rick's Mannequins? Like, it just seems like if you're going to if you have to buy mannequins for your department store and you're going to Rick's, you got to assume that they're gonna be a little deformed. Like you're not gonna have like the good mannequins. It's like going to the dollar store mannequins. You know, you're going to Rick's. Yeah. We're trying to save money, so you know this one might be missing an arm. You know, this one might have like just one eye. You know, or just something.
Mickey Mouse. Yeah, you know Mickey Mouse. Yeah, the cooler mouse.
Oh my gosh!
But my name of my mannequin store, and I put it right across the street to put these guys out of business. It would be Macho Mannequins. A little double entendre. I will have Macho Man's face and say, "Ooh yeah."
So you're not gonna have any female mannequins? It's only male mannequins.
Yeah, just yeah. There's gotta be somebody that, because the other ones, then my selling point to the people that are buying them, they're like, "Yeah, I need a man mannequin, but I need a female one too." It's like, oh yeah, you know what? We're the experts in the man mannequins, the Macho Man mannequin. Put jerseys on them, hunting gear.
Okay.
Walmart. Oh, dude, Walmart would be our number one customer.
I thought you were going to say Dick's.
Dick's. Dick's won the Macho Mannequin. I like it. But yeah, no, so then they catch him. How did they subdue him?
Okay.
It was just that he was surrounded, or is it a flashlight?
No, they shot. I think they shot a dart in him, right? They shot the dart.
Oh yeah,
in
he
him.
got darted.
Okay,
yeah, it's the first time we see the darts.
Okay. This was one of the biggest problems, like the dumbest thing in the entire movie. So they subdue him, they bring him to the lab, they strap him to the chair, but this guy's a scanner. He uses his head for everything. He doesn't do anything physical with his legs or arms. He doesn't punch. He doesn't hit. So they strapped everything but his head, where that's all his power is from his head. So how's that stopping him?
I know.
So that, to me, and he wasn't using. Did he use his scan? Did he do anything while he was strapped in?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
They just finally did the whole. Yeah, basically they let him out pretty quick because they.
Yeah. Well,
because at first they were going to start drugging him. The
correct.
Doctor who plays the creepy dad in Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, he always plays a creepy role. He has that look to him. But did you notice his entrance? First of all, his entrance came in where you don't see his face, like they were hiding he's walking down the stairs. The video camera was on his crotch as he's walking down the steps because they didn't want to show his face yet. And then they, so I'm thinking it's gonna be a big reveal. It's gonna be all right, who's this guy that's gonna no, just a regular doctor. Why'd they have to make it a surprise visit? Who this guy is gonna be? And it was a nobody.
Yeah, it could have been Robert Englund. He would have been really good in this role.
That would have been cool, right? Good. But there was nothing. They literally, because as he was walking closer, you still only saw him from the waist down, and then you saw him from the back. You didn't see his face, so they were clearly hiding him for whatever reason. And then it just, nothing.
He was a great creep. He plays the role good of being
always
a really a slime ball. He's perfect in that.
Yep.
Oh man. So one of the what a terrible line this was, but when Forrester brings him there and he's talking to the scientist and the scientist talks about oh, the drugs didn't work on these, some of these are gonna die, pointing to people. We're not talking about animals or anything. And so yeah, that one's really sick. But when he looks at the doctor and he goes, "We're not gonna have a scan war, are we?" And I'm like, oh my god. And then I thought of the scene of what we got later in the movie, but with many people when they're just looking at each other with their fingers on their temples and they're each twitching.
Well, the faces, I still have nightmares of just watching the faces of everybody, what they were how how many takes do you think it takes? Because I mean, it seems pretty easy. You just make stupid
They
faces.
can do it.
then-
I would hope it's one take, and they just go, "We're going to film you for 2 minutes and just do different faces."
Make the ugliest faces you possibly can do, and we're going to use that as your scanning power.
Yeah.
What was stopping the people that they had in the fishbowl of like using their powers?
Well, for some reason they weren't able to do it because they were so drugged up, but because David got down there,
Then
they were able to have their powers again. It made no sense.
It didn't make any sense. Okay.
He was like fetal, but Walter was like fetal position, and he was like not moving, and then somehow he just wakes up. Why? I don't. I wouldn't understand. I didn't get. There was just so many things that the only thing I have to say about a movie like this that sometimes you're like, oh, this came out 10 years after the original or 8 years after the original. It's like, man, that's a long time. Sometimes that, you know, the quality definitely goes down because they get really far away or just try to do a in name only sequel. But the special effects, man, the money went there and it was amazing.
Okay,
like,
so
this saved the movie from going to be like one of the worst ones we've watched, which there are some redeeming qualities we'll get into, but the special effects, man, I was blown away.
No, I mean, obviously the head explosions and all that stuff. But
Ugh.
so, what are scanners doing to your head to make it explode and bubble? Because like everybody's head gets that big bubble first, and then is it just blood like boiling? Like
Yeah, I don't know.
It like there's no like their heads explode. So is it the pressure from inside is pushing out? Because they all get like deformed. Like clearly look at the end. You know, like you know, like so like. But I don't even know how that works. Like, how do you make someone's face like melt and then like get back together? Like, I don't know. I was just trying to figure out what exactly is happening when they do that to someone's head.
Yeah, no, I don't know. And then at one point, now when they were doing that to somebody's head, like the one guy's blood turned like bright green, like that. I didn't know what that was. But no, I don't know what happens to their face. But you're right. At the end, you really see they really took their time on that last like image watching the movie. Like that effect looked amazing. Like that guy's face was like so.
He looked
creepy.
like the Elephant Man. Like you ever seen the movie The Elephant Man? Like
oh yeah,
that kind of makeup. He looked exactly like that kind of like face. Like weird. Like weird.
No, there's definitely some weird things to it, but again, it's like there's the element of Star Wars that is so cool, like the mind. They just could have done it bigger. Like to see, I'm trying to think of another movie what was the movie that came out like, man, it's probably 10 years ago now. Like the three friends all had superpowers out of nowhere. There was like a meteor crash.
Oh, the young kids, like the young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's his name was in it? The guy that's like a big time actor. Michael B. Jordan's in it.
Something 9? No. I know you're talking
I don't know, but anyway. The one guy was in a ton right after it, and then I don't know where the other guy went. But anyway, like in that movie, they all just had they it's just so confusing in this movie. Like there's no rules.
Well, that's what it is. Like I think like when you can move things, like move objects, like was it Tina in Friday the 13th? Was it Tina? No.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you can do things like that, you can't control people. Like it's objects, right? You can, one is that you can either control people or you control objects. I don't think I've seen something where you can do both.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Was Carrie able to do both? Like, I don't know. Like,
no,
I don't
Carrie,
think. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Carrie
so it's
just closed the lockers and
right.
She was able, just to make things.
But you can do mind control people, right? So that's what I mean.
No.
So like, you either can control someone's mind and make them do things, or you can move objects. The fact that they can do both, is kind of weird. So what are the doctors trying to accomplish? Like, what's the plot of this movie?
I don't know what it is. It's like they're using almost like take the same concept as Jurassic World, right? So in Jurassic World, they're trying to take the velociraptors to make them use them in war. In this sense, they're using the scanners in order to get political control and like take over. Because that part is, oh my God, when we get to that scene, I might just like that thing made zero sense.
Everything. Oh, okay.
It just made no sense at all. But
so they're lab testing on these scanners and trying to control them.
Yeah, they want them to be like, I guess, either that they can like control them, or they're so obedient that they'll listen. Like same difference, but so that's that's why they're trying to drug them up.
Okay.
It's almost like they're trying to find like the happy medium of
But-
drunkenness
but-
or highness.
It wasn't so, but they became scanners from experiments years before, right?
Well, they came. Yeah, it wasn't experiments. We found maybe it's a bigger thing in the first one, but in this one, it was like more of a toss in line. So it could be one of those things like, oh, you've seen the first one, you know it, or we won't really explain. So we're just gonna say that your mom took a needle when she was pregnant to help her birth or whatever it was. So that basically like made certain kids scanners, but the parents were scanners. That's what made no sense too.
Okay.
So wait.
Yeah, but wait.
Yeah.
But then how would there be other scanners? Are they all born because moms took a shot or whatever?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
took a
No,
drug?
that doesn't make sense because even me just explaining that, they explained to him that unless they lied, because this is coming from Forrester. Forrester explained to him, oh, your mother was a test subject for this new medication. There was it turned kids into scanners to have these special powers. So maybe it was a bullshit line because his sister says later in the movie, mom and dad were scanners. So it was like, what's the truth? Because if mom and dad were scanners, do they make scanners from babies, or do you need that shot? Or
yeah, and if you're a pregnant mom, you're gonna do drug tests.
No, I think it was maybe like an epidural. Maybe it was something that had to do with the pregnancy. I don't think it was like a random knock. Want to make $25?
See, I thought they were aliens. Like they make it like they should be like aliens or something. Like like they really don't officially explain how one becomes a scanner. Okay.
They do in the beginning, but then it sort of reverses makes it seem like
right. So I guess we need one of our or Egan. I'm sure
Egan watched this. Egan watched this last week. He watched it before we did.
Okay, so we need Egan to tell us how someone becomes a scanner in the first movie.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, all right.
Did you notice one of the big parts of the movie that I do love? Whoever wrote this, I should look up their name. The callback to it. And I think my buddy Tom that passed away, he was good whenever he came on with us. He would always, because he was a writer, he would always pick these things that were like from earlier in the movie that were like foreshadowing. But with this, there was the random newspaper article that said like milk murder.
Yeah.
Right? Tampering with milk. And then oh no, that was on the news report. It said milk murder tampering. And
but it was in the newspaper too.
It wasn't in the newspaper, but this is when they turned on the TV. And then the line that it says in the sports report, I think it was on the radio, said another big baseball trade between New York and two other teams. So that was like the generic thing that was written in the script that somebody actually read. But yeah, it was the milk murderer. Yeah. I think they mentioned it here. We see it in the newspaper later. And then
he saw that when he went to his house, right? With his parents?
Yeah.
You mean the parents that looked like they were 90 years old and he was shocked that they weren't his real parents?
Yeah, that was really bizarre. How do you not put two and two together?
I mean, like when he goes there, I mean, I know we're not there yet, but when he goes there and I'm like, those are his parents? Like they seem so old. And the fact that he's like completely shocked that I can't believe you're not my parents.
Yeah, because he's like 22, 23, I would think, right?
And they look like they have to be in their mid-80s.
Yeah. But you know what? This is 89, so they might be 40.
That is true. Yeah, they have that Wilford
Brimley. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, they're
probably 43.
49. He was 49 in that movie, right? In Ewoks. Oh my god.
Well, again, the Golden Girls were all 50,
which is crazy.
So I mean, it was amazing. So
Rue McClanahan, the hottest. So we finally get to our main character. Oh, I'm sorry. This is when he was in the car, when he was in traffic. That was the radio that came through.
Yep.
Because they gave a little talk about the arcade explosion.
Yep.
So that's what it was. So how crazy is this? So we get the main character. It's always in movies, the main characters are late. Like Back to the Future. It's all of them. The main characters are like lazy. But the fact that he's late to school and he walks in late to dog surgery. Like, first of all, I don't know if they would let you in. I don't think people would just be like, oh man, I'm late. I'm 10 minutes late. Can I just walk in this dog surgery? He's like,
let me tell
in the
you,
back.
I got a little nervous in this scene. I mean, with when the puppy.
I know.
When he holding the puppy by the face.
Yeah, that was
like.
Weird.
I mean, like, because my daughter was down there. I go, come on, just watch this movie with me. And then the first scene was that scene that she walked into. She goes, Dad, you making me watch this? I go, no. But like the way they made it look like he was going to squeeze the puppy's eyes out.
Yeah.
You know,
I wrote, he has the look of, I'm about to snap its neck. That's the look he gave.
Yeah, 100% did. Yeah, I mean, but you're right. I mean, like they were in the middle of surgery. It wasn't like they just started. Like, I mean, I would assume that door has to stay closed now with germ purposes and everything.
That
like,
is true. Yeah, the dog is contaminated.
Yeah, 100%. Like everything's open now, so you're not gonna open that door. He just walks in, like, hey. Which he didn't wash up or anything, so he just threw his scrubs on and walked right in there.
Yeah, he ran right in there, right from.
You know what? If that's how it really is at like vet school, and they actually were, I'm never bringing my puppy to any kind of surgery, or dog to any surgery.
No, when you call up and say, "Yeah, I need to schedule surgery for my dog." Quick question: in your vet school, did they let people come in late for surgery? Like, you guys know that once the door is closed, keep it closed and you wash your hands.
Okay, first of all, I'm not bringing my dog to vet school operations. Like,
yeah, that is true too.
I mean, because it's
a dog.
Because I know, like, you could do that at beauty school. Like, if you want a cheap haircut, you can pay them, which is like very cheap, and they'll do it. Which again,
they should pay
some balls. Well, they should pay you, but you got to have some balls going to a beauty school and like trusting people that are just new and nervous.
Yeah.
They probably and I don't want to be the person who has like, so-and-so Saul's first customer he's ever done, because that haircut's not going to come out right, but same thing like the vets, like I guess people, because they have to practice somehow, who would trust their pet to like a student? Like I wouldn't.
Yeah, I know. Well, they do it with people. People do it. So.
Well, if you don't like your children, fine. You send them that way. You know what? Listen, if you don't start behaving, next surgery, you're going to the, med school.
Yeah, med school doctor. They're clean your room, or you're gonna go to that D+ student. He's gonna be the one that.
Well, imagine going to a dentist school, like someone their first time.
I did that for my boss's. It was so weird because she was like, "Oh yeah, why don't you?" Did anyone want like free dental stuff? And it was right when I got off my parents' plan when I was like 25. She's like, "Oh yeah, my son's going to school for it," and he didn't even do my teeth. All I did was go there, and the girl took so long. I was there for an hour, and all she did was measure my teeth. And I was there in the chair for an hour. She was so bad. She kept like saying the wrong numbers and then skipping teeth by accident.
She was probably so nervous.
Oh, she was.
Okay, yeah. And she's only the one that's taking the pictures of the teeth. Imagine the actual student that has to do there and do cavities. Like, there's no way I'm trusting anyone. I don't like going to the dentist anyway, but let alone someone that's never done it before.
That's a roll of the dice, man.
Yeah, it
you
is.
could be like, you could be dead. They have a sharp tool in your mouth, like pretty close to your brain.
Oh,
Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so we meet Alice, who has that look of the sister, the love interest in Ferris Bueller.
Yes.
Similar, like look, eyes.
Look,
I don't think it's her, but
cute
she looks
girl.
like her.
But she doesn't know. Like, they really made it look like they just met, or they like they barely know each other, because they're talking about what he's doing in vet school or something like that. I don't think I've ever seen someone come on to the other person as hard as she was to him.
I wrote that down.
She, like I said, it looked like they just met. They're crossing paths in the stairway or something like that, and stairwell, and she was. First of all, the entire relationship moved at a million miles an hour speed, because they're basically married
with each other, and also in the real time, like what's going on in the craziness. It's within 24 hours.
okay. So that was my question. What's the time frame of this movie? Right,
maybe like
that has to
a
be,
week,
maybe
tops.
Okay, I was gonna say that's pushing it. I would think like maybe 2 or 3 days. I mean, there's one overnight.
He traveled to see his sister. They had like a weird thing together for a little bit.
Oh,
they
that
had
was
like
also
moments.
very weird.
Over.
Oh my
very
gosh,
weird.
the fireplace scene was a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
what was going on.
so this girl is really like, and he's brushing her off multiple times.
Oh
He's
yeah.
like, no, I'm not interested, or I don't have time, or something like that, and then like she kept going, and then he decided, all right, let's go on a date, and they go to a bar, like a sushi bar that's at the bottom of a, like, where were they when they were? Was that at a train station? Like, it looked like it was at a train station or something, but it was a sushi bar.
Oh, it was a sushi bar, but it was a silent disco.
Yeah, well,
it was like a subway station.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. It was like at a subway station, which looked like the bar was, sushi bar was in the middle of nowhere, but they had music where you have to put on headphones to listen to the DJ. Is that something?
That is cool.
Is that a real thing?
I've never been to one, but it's a real thing. Yeah, it's basically like you can do it. They would do it at parks in Portland when I lived there. It was only like $5 and you're just renting the headphones. It's basically like you can go to a concert that's really loud, but it's not disturbing anyone. It's just like this weird.
But why would you pay money to put headphones on for music you can't hear, and not knowing if you like? Well, not until you put the headphones on. You can't hear it.
Yeah. Oh no, that's true. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to this bar. I'm gonna pay money for the headphones to listen to music, which I don't even know how I'm gonna like, because you don't know what, you can't hear it until you put it on.
Yeah.
And you're all listening to the same.
But roll the dice.
Okay, so
it's like going to a dentist, a college dentist.
Okay, so you have the headphones on, music's blasting in your ear. How are you talking to the person in front of you?
Oh well, I know you're just there to bump and grind. I don't think you're there to talk.
Yeah, but they weren't bumping and grinding. So like they were like, literally there was a conversation. So like, it's so dumb. He was
bugging out. He was bugging out pretty. But it is easy to talk when you want to talk. Like at a bar, it's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And you're like 2 feet away. But here, you just take the headphones off. She takes the headphones off and talk. Nobody else is really talking.
Then what's the point of putting it on?
If you don't want to talk anymore and you just want to listen to music for a few minutes.
Well, I would assume if you're wearing those and you're trying to have a conversation, like picking up a girl or whatever, you're talking, but you can't hear what she's saying. You're trying to lip read what she's saying. She has no clue what you're saying, and you guys are having a conversation that probably goes absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Oh man. You know what I just thought about? Like rewriting this movie. I know we always talk about this at the end, but I don't want to forget. And I think what would have made the story of this movie, obviously there was the things we talked about already, like the no rules, not knowing like why they become scanners, like a lot of things were left in the dark about. But if April was in on it, that would have been amazing.
You mean like if she was a scanner?
Maybe not even a scanner, but she worked for them or something.
Oh.
Maybe but the fact that, like you said, she's hot. He's weird.
Not.
She goes up late to school. You're not. And she is so aggressive towards him. It makes you feel like it. Even in this, like, no joke. If you're on a first date with somebody, I know it's, again, and maybe it's shallow, if you're with him for a while, but it's like, he's weird from the beginning. Like, everything is off, and she stays with him. So I remember getting to the point, I'm like, this is like, I obviously a totally different movie. Maybe in the similarities, it's not as good, but like How I Too, like, she was about to give up her job for some guy that she barely remembers his name from high school.
Right.
For no reason. This movie, she was about to give up everything for a guy that a lot of stuff happened that were bad.
A lot
in
of
24 hours.
And their relationship, like, she seemed more upset about his parents than he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, she has like a breakdown. She never met them. And she has a complete breakdown, I mean, their relationship is so bizarre. Like, like I said, they just, what they do in the hospital bed later on.
What is that?
And again, that's day 2.
Yeah,
it just, it's such
so you know what? That might have been day So they meet day 1.
Yep.
Silent disco. Day 2 would have been.
Well, they have a date when he brings a gift to her, which is a very weird gift to give to someone you don't really know. He gives her a puppy.
What do you? Oh, well, that's later. That's not on the first date. That's when
that was the second date. What are you talking about? They made plans.
That was after she was out of the hospital. That's after
no, it
she was
wasn't.
out of the hospital with concussion.
That was before the hospital. No, that was before the hospital. Because the rest of the movie,
that was the puppy that was going to have surgery that he was holding.
No, yes, that was the puppy, but she was in the hospital most of the movie. So this happened before the hospital. It was the night before everything happened. So it was because it literally happens that like that.
No, I know.
That was the first
the puppy after she got out of the hospital.
No. I'm almost 100% positive it was like the next scene. Like he comes over for dinner. And he brings a puppy.
No, because when he comes over for dinner, that's when she says, "Oh, I'm making pasta, but I got to make pesto. Let's go take a walk."
Correct. And then they go to the store. And then they go to the store.
And then she gets knocked out. But I don't think she has a puppy yet.
Of course she does. That was the gift.
Get a brand new puppy, and then all right.
Yes.
Really?
No, okay. Listen. The date was it was the first date they had that she brought. First of all, she's having him over for dinner, but she doesn't have the groceries there. Because they had to go back because she didn't have pesto. They had to go to the store and get pesto.
I know.
How do you invite someone over for dinner and say, "Hey, let's go grocery shopping first? Like, that just seems weird. But he comes over there with the puppy.
Weird. Like it was a setup. Like it was a setup.
Well, yes. So the puppy was there for that first scene because I wrote that down. Like yeah. I mean, he literally brings the puppy for the first scene, and that's why I thought it was weird because it was like their first date, and she's like, "Oh, you got me a puppy." First of all, you don't know if she's allergic to dogs. 2, you don't know if she likes dogs.
She's a vet. No, she's a vet. She can't be allergic to dogs.
You don't know if she takes. Maybe she wears a mask when she's
going into a career and just saying like, "Man, I'm allergic to."
Yeah, that's true. Well, it doesn't mean she likes them though. I mean, there's plenty of mean doctors that don't like their patients. So she might not like dogs.
Yeah, I hate myself too. If I was scratching myself 24 hours.
Well, did you notice that most of the dogs that she operates on don't make it?
Oh man.
All right.
Oh man. So again, I didn't know what scanners were. Obviously, I realized like from that opening scene like what they can do, but when he put on the headphones and he freaked out. I was like, was there a message in it? Was it like one of those type of things? Like when they have like sleeper cells? Like, was there a message in that song? Because he started hearing voices and then he was making like robots. What about that? When he was like when he got up the stairs and he like collapsed and he was like laying there, he was moving in like these weird ways, but there were like these robot sound effects added in. I'm like, what is this guy?
And if he so when someone could read minds, they don't hear minds all the time. Like if they have to focus and make that face to hear the mind.
Yeah. It's not like What Women Want. It's not the Mel Gibson
so
movie.
What if if someone walks by as you're like you have to stare at the mind that you're focusing on, but if someone walks by, do you does it switch channels and go to the other person's head like as they're walking by like? Does it block it?
In between, it switches. It switches stories like when you're like driving and you're like on 998, you know.
And it's their voice that you hear. Like whose voice is it? Like is it your voice hearing it? Like I just want to know how mind control works. You know,
it'd be weird if our voices weren't that. Like if our inside voices were really different. Like yours is like Gilbert Godfrey. Like you're thinking about should I get a burger or a chicken sandwich? And it's like and somebody listens to it and it's a totally different voice. That'd be good.
Wait, that was your Gilbert Godfrey impression?
No, I didn't try one.
Oh, you said Gilbert Godfrey and then you said, oh, don't even try.
No. I can't even try. And then I just thought about Bobcat Goldthwait and I'm like, nah, I can't even do that.
That's it.
Two classics. When you think about terrible voices, those are the ones.
Well, you might as well throw Pee Wee Herman in there.
Yeah, Pee Wee's in there. Yeah, Pee Wee's definitely there.
And the funny thing is, The funny thing is, all three of them, it's not even their real voices yet. That's what got them famous.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? It's like, oh,
Like, but you imagine like you do that voice once because you for an audition, and now you're stuck doing that voice for your entire career.
yeah.
Like, that's gotta suck.
Right, yeah.
That's like you're walking in there, like, oh, this, this voice is gonna fit this role perfectly. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get the role, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, it does fit it. We want to hear that voice from now on. And like and you're like, come on, I want to show you the real me. No, we want that voice. We want,
That'd be great if they did like a Bobcat Goldthwait story, and he does stand up in his normal voice, and people are like, "Boo!" And he's like, "You know what? This is the last effing time I'm doing this." And he goes up, and he's like, "Yo, he's like,
oh
gravel. I can't do one." But I'm saying he went up there, and people laughed.
I know.
And he was like, "Shit, this is my life now."
That sucks. Because honestly, they're all very similar voices. They have that gravelly, like, kind of, and they have the kind of voice that seemed like it would hurt after a while of doing it for a while.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you're doing like Bobcats for that long, like for the movie, it takes hours and days to make a movie, and you got to keep that voice up. Like, I wonder if like his voice is ever like after a movie, he has to take a few months off because his voice is all vocal cords are all messed up.
Yeah, I would say his is the hardest.
Gilbert Gottfried's
That one
up there.
does strength.
I mean,
yeah, maybe Gilbert, but like Pee Wee's just a little bit higher. So I don't think
but
he
then
has to
once
do
in a while,
anything.
he sounds like Gilbert. Like he has that once in a while. He gets that little gravel. But all right.
I know you are, but what am I?
Well, that's the easy one.
That was wow. one for three. Batting.
You sounded like Bert from Sesame Street just now. You
That's
did.
what I was going for.
Okay, good.
So look
right.
what we get in the next scene. Did you notice a familiar face in the next scene?
I did not, but there's definitely a lot of questions in this one as well. But go ahead.
Oh, dude, how about the guy that looks like a melting John Lithgow?
I said that.
What? I really hope that was an actor that they really done up to look like somebody that was like, not like fully scanned, like only like quarter scanned, and because his face was like melting, but he wasn't a scanner. He was just a henchman. He was a security, a really slow security guard.
Well, they weren't that smart. Well, you're talking about the guy at the booth.
Yeah,
or the grocery
guy
store.
in the next scene.
I thought you were talking about the two guys at the grocery store.
No,
the guy at the
I'm
booth.
talking about
Yeah,
the guy in the
they
booth
made
is the same
him
guy in the next scene when they're at the crooked lawyer's office.
I think he was a scanner. That's why he looked like that. There's no way he was a normal guy.
Because he never used powers.
Well, he looks
oh,
like
wait, I'm sorry. No, I take it back. No, he does use powers because he's the guy that reads the guy's mind, right? And he goes, your mother's date of birth, and he says that into the when he goes into the safe.
Oh yeah.
He knows the code.
Yeah,
like,
but he looks like he was one of the ones in the fishbowl. Like he could have fit into that group
right,
the way he's looked.
No,
so he had to be a scanner. Yeah.
Because he used guns on the other part. Again, another dumb thing. Why did he pull out a gun when the Jeep was going after him? At the end of the movie, like when he's in the booth.
Oh yeah.
Why not use your powers to turn off the vehicle? There's a lot of things that aren't used.
Correct.
And they only let them scan. Some of these characters only scan for like a little bit, so you forgot about it because that's the only time he scanned in the movie was when he read the guy's mind. But how about the familiar face was the bad guy who fought the puppet in FX2. He plays the same role in this movie, same hair, has the same 5 o'clock shadow.
Right. Yep.
He looks the same.
Yeah.
The FX2 is like 2 years after this or 3 years after, but same thing, everything about it.
Well, again, I think in the 80s, like certain people had like a certain look that those are the roles you're getting. Like,
Yeah, you were good.
Like, I don't know.
Sleazy.
I don't know what other movie the main bad guy, Raz or Riz or whatever he was. I don't know what other movie he was in, but he played a crazy guy in every single movie.
Yeah.
Like he just, so not saying he was a good actor because he wasn't. He was awful. But those are he was just that he was probably the crazy guy in IMDb. I'd be curious to see what other movies he was in.
Yeah.
So,
but in
but,
this
yeah.
scene is like it's a crooked lawyer's office, and Forrester like sort of like set this up. So he has the scanners working for him to get him his quick ride. I don't know what's crazier, the relationship going that fast, or this guy deciding that he wants to be the chief of police, then he wants to be the mayor within like 72 hours.
Yeah.
And he's like already having like a campaign dinner at one point when there's chaos going on. He's like, I got this interview that I have to do. It's like, what is happening? Like, why don't you finish your job of getting rid of the bad guy or the good guy that's in your way that can spoil your whole plan? No, it's okay. I got to go to this dinner right now.
Yeah, but they wanted to keep him. Well, they wanted to keep him alive too, which also
for a little bit. Then he was like, kill him, because there's like 2 parts in a row. There's 2 scenes where Forrester goes, I want him alive. I want him alive. And the last one, he's like, I want him dead.
Oh, does he switch? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Once like David wasn't cooperating at all, he's like, I want him dead, no matter how. But that scene is he's setting up to like take over. So he wants to get rid of this. Again, it's terrible, but he's like the most crooked lawyer in the city. Which is this? What city is this?
You know what? In the 80s, every city looks like New York City.
I know, it's like a
It
nondescript.
really does. So
like,
it's yeah.
I was trying to think if there was any exteriors. Maybe this was supposed to be New York because his sister lives in Maine, right? He drives up to Maine.
That's a 6-hour
New
drive.
Hampshire or something.
But
I'm saying
you know
New
what?
York's the closest major city. Like Boston doesn't look like New York at all.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I was just thinking because he definitely goes to country. Like when he goes to visit his parents, he's in the country. You know, because he has that whole drama music scene where he's just showing so much emotion because he's so confused of what's going on that he just found out that his grandparents are not his parents or whatever. Like you know, like that scene like dragged out. Like the music became like a Hallmark music, like Hallmark movie music, and like it was like dragged out. Like you have a movie like Scanners that's like it's like obviously a silly horror movie, and then you're trying to show like compassion and like a drama. And
there's a lot of emotion. The meaning
it really was. Even the scene was right. Like all that stuff did not fit in the movie. Like it's like it's so misplaced because those scenes would fit in Hallmark, would not fit in an 80s weird sci-fi movie. You know. So
head explosion, tender moment. Head explosion. Yeah. It's like no, I don't think that's how it works. But so the bad guy from FX2 shows up. And he's getting ready to kill. Why did that guy show up? I think he was tricked to show up, and then the scanner took his gun and then had him shoot the crooked lawyer to set him up, and then they killed him. But didn't he throw a guy? Yeah, that's the that was like the first really cool effect.
Well, this is all in the
scene there was.
This is all in the subway. On the stairs, right? Because
no, this is in the office.
Well, then what happened on the stairs? Because that's where the crimes was it, or this was later on, or was it that? Because there was a scene where the news showed up and they were literally standing on the place where the guy died on the stairs.
That wasn't here. No, that's later. This was in the. Oh no, this wasn't the stairs, but it wasn't where he died. Right? There was somebody that died on the stairs?
Yes, because the next scene you see it on the news, and he's being interviewed, the main bad guy. Forster. But they're standing on top of the crime scene because it died right there on the stairs.
Oh, I don't remember a guy that died. I remember the guy got shot in the head right at his desk. That was like the crooked lawyer.
Yes, that was correct.
But there was another guy that got away and died on the stairs. Oh, I forgot.
This movie and you're doing the same thing. I feel like there's so much jumbled together.
Yeah,
like some of the scenes I'm forgetting or mixing up. It just weird. Like it just scenes like I feel like the scenes don't gel that well, and so but because I wrote down the news. It was after all the facial explosions, all that stuff. I said the news they're standing on top of the crime scene, and then and then we go. Oh, wait a second. So they didn't have the date yet. The date is next.
Yeah, the date's after this. Yeah, but how about
I wrote. And by the way, I wrote down brought a puppy on first date. So absolutely,
Wow, you nailed it.
Okay,
it's crazy. Get a new puppy, throw him on the ground so I can get pesto.
Yeah.
Who went back for that puppy? Like, there's a lot of shit that goes down. She's in the hospital for days.
Wait, is that you don't see the puppy anymore the rest of the movie, right?
I don't think so.
You know what? Think about it. So she ends up in a hospital for a couple of days. Who's taking care of that puppy that she just got?
It's dead. It's dead.
Okay.
They performed a miracle surgery, saved it because she thought the puppy was going to die. So I guess somehow he performed the surgery.
And she lives in a huge apartment.
Oh my God. She's
going to vet school.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
She's going to vet school and her apartment was huge.
She had windows the size of my house.
Okay. Now, and she had an upstairs. Now, again, she lived in a city. So she had an upstairs. So she had a 2-floor apartment in if it is New York City. How expensive is that going to be? A small loft is going to cost you tons of money. This is a 2-story apartment in the city, and she's paying for vet school.
And she met a rich dad.
Maybe she had an OnlyFans.
Maybe she had an OnlyFans, or she's working for the New Order. That would make so much sense. Like, how does she afford that? Why is she wanting to be with him? Why did she say, "Oh, I forgot the pesto"? Because that's what happens next. But before that, when he's talking to the news, Forrester, and he starts giving into like this campaign speech. Yeah, I don't want to get into politics, but the mayor, me and the mayor don't see eye to eye on this whole thing. And he gives like this campaign speech. And then the best when he goes into the next day, aviators on, like he's the cock of the walk, and the old guy comes in and like rips him a new one.
Yep. I wrote that he's indoors wearing his sunglasses, at the office. Like it's one thing. I guess you're gonna try to be intimidating when you're gonna go on to a criminal, whatever. But you're at the police station. You're at the office, and you're gonna walk around like you're the head cop, like tough cop. And meanwhile, the old man rips you apart.
The chief comes in. All he does is rip him, and he says, "Hey, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it."
And then he walks out.
Like everything was fine. It was like, okay, everything's cool. And then he kills him in like seconds. Like not too long after this. So then when Forrester's on the phone with the doctor, he says what he needs is a scanner of virgin mind. But how the hell would you find that? Like, really, you'd have to find. Obviously, they find it pretty quick, so the timing of it is amazing. Yeah, I wrote that over too.
Well, no,
he brings over the dog they cured.
I would say the virgin of mind finds them because they didn't find him. Like they didn't know about him. Like right?
No, yeah. But I'm saying like they have to look around. Like, does anybody ever do like, oh my God, this guy at the diner knocked over a cup of coffee? Oh my God, he can mind control. He made a guy's spine come out of his body.
Well, I mean, they do make a lot of ridiculous faces. So if you're in a public place and you see someone making a bunch of faces, good chances they're a scanner. I just want to know like how many scanners are out there? Like how many I really need to know the backstory of scanners because it will explain a lot. Because was this were scanners only in one town? So was it only this town that did the drugs and, there's only a small, or are there scanners throughout the whole country? Like, is there because it doesn't seem like it. It seems like scanners are just in this one little area.
You're right.
Because in the fishbowl, they only have about 4 scanners down there. It's not a whole room of them.
Failed ones. Those are like the failed ones.
They are. So there aren't that many. So I wonder was there just one scanner in the first movie who just terrorized everybody? Or
I got you. You ready? First one, I pulled up Wikipedia, so hopefully somebody's not messing with us. It has here, so Michael Ironside, his character, he suffers from voices in his head, and after involuntarily causing a woman to have a seizure with his telepathy, he's captured by a private military company. Then he's explained that he's one of 237 super-powered individuals known as scanners. And then she injects him with a drug to restore his sanity. And then, so she gives him a drug, and it stops him from having the abilities for a while.
Okay. First of all, 237 is such a specific number.
Very weird. Unless
unless
it is not the parents. If you're like a scanner and you have sex with a scanner, you don't have a scanner as a baby. Maybe this would make more sense if it was just the other thing. So if Deborah Raffin never said that line, it would then this would make sense. They would know, okay, there was 225 women that got the shot. There were some twins. Okay, we have an exact number of what's alive. And that sort of makes sense. But that Deborah Raffin line just ruins everything. It makes zero sense.
But even that doesn't make sense. Like you know how many, if you can have twins that are scanners, you have scanners. Then those twins have kids. They're not gonna have scanners. They're not gonna have scanners. If they're it's going to be passed around. It's not going to be just the one birth, right? If you're born a scanner, you're going to pass that around. But the fact that they know there's 237 scanners, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, that's and so I went right to the end of the movie.
Okay.
No spoiler, but there's like the bad guy and Michael Ironside. It's revealed that this main woman that found them, that works for the military, Ruth, she's the woman that's their mom, and she's the one who developed the sedative for pregnant women. So it was a sedative for surgery. And it's the side effect during the pregnancy was it made powerful scanners in the world by administering a prototype dosage prior to abandoning them.
Ugh. What a dumb script. Yeah. I mean, you know what? If they were aliens, it changes the whole story. Then it's so much better. Yeah. Like the fact that it was a sedative for pregnant women, and that's what did it. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, just a weird thing a weird thing to put into it. But again, to me, that's like, at least it's something. But her throwing that line, that's like, our parents are scanners too.
So what's the connection then to this movie to the other movie?
Scanners.
There is none.
Scanners.
All right. So the scanner, like, there's no relation with the mother, the father. Like,
no.
The only thing like would have been better is if the father, who we see later on, was in the first movie, but you don't recognize him because he looks like death in this movie. So and then you find out he was from the first movie, and now you have a connection, like
something,
like
not just like nothing. A broad thing. It's like, there's a man in this movie.
There's more scanners. So I'm assuming the third one, there's just more scanners.
We'll talk about that opening scene that I watched from that third movie. But so she has to finish dinner. She has to go buy pesto. She goes to this bodega and buys a bottle of water.
Hold on a second. So that the bodega looked like it was a gas station grocery store, right? That is going to carry pesto.
Yeah.
Like if you're having your first date. This is the first date. Like they met. They look like they just went for lunch. Like they met at the vet's school. They were talking, and then they walked together down to the sushi place. So this is the first date. You're gonna impress your date. One, you forgot the groceries, so now you're bringing your date to go food shopping with you, and then you bring him to a gas station grocery store to get the food. Like it's not starting a good date. Like it's already a disaster. You're bringing a puppy for the gift for the first. You forget your it just
then you're leaving the puppy.
That's right, and you're leaving a puppy.
The puppy's pooping and peeing everywhere. But the fact that
everywhere
she's making pesto, because I don't think, does she even get a jar of pesto? I think she would have to get a.
Well, she doesn't have a chance to do it.
Oh yeah, that's true. It happens it does happen very quick.
It does.
Like that whole scene of the robbery
was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He waits for a while. He waits for a very long time, dude. The fact that the girl still goes to press the button. Again, maybe it's her store, but again, you have insurance, probably not a lot of money in the register. She has to press the button, and he sees it and then shoots her, which was insane.
There was the people that die in this movie just out of the blue are a lot. Like it's like like there was no like yelling at her to get back. It was like, all right, you're gonna do that, I'm gonna kill you. Like there was like and everybody in this movie, they all die. Like it just like there's no questions.
Yeah, the other person dies like that too, right? He pulls his gun out and they point the guns at each other, and the guy's like, he just fires first. The other guy like forgets to shoot his gun.
Yeah.
But then David shows up. He finally sneaks from the aisle. He throws the guy. Somehow the guy just gets thrown so fast that he lets go of her. So he lets April just not do anything. But what he does to that guy is
his neck explodes. His neck and his head exploded too, but it was his neck and his head because he had that big bubble.
Yeah. Oh, that was gross.
So what is that? Like what is like? Because like I just wish there was an explanation of like, all right, be careful because a scanner can get inside your head, make the veins expand or whatever. Like explain what it is because that bubble, like, can the skin bubble like that? Like that big, like it looked like a bullfrog.
Like giant, it's like like that. It was like they were.
It looked like a bullfrog.
Giant, like warts. Yeah, bullfrog, like on them, and then they were. But the fact that the spine getting pulled out, that was weird. It looked crazy, and he couldn't stop it. That was the crazy part because we're watching a character in David that just learned that he has this. He mentions that he remembered like when he was younger, he was able to like move things, but like he can't stop because you could see him like not wanting to do it, but like he's doing it at the same time. It's like just weird. And he rips when you see the spine rip through the skin, you're like, wow, that looked cool.
But he's never questioned the fact that he could do this. He's in his 20s. Like, at what point do you say like, you tell your parents or tell someone, hey, listen, you know what? I got these things that I can do. Like the fact that he said he remembers doing things when he was younger. What happened all through his teens? You're gonna tell me he never used it on the school bully? Like he never did anything in school, to talk to a girl, hey, you want to go out with me? No. Yes, you do. Like that, like if you're a kid who has this kind of powers and mind control, think about it. Like, it's like you ever see the show The Boys? With the superheroes?
Some of it, yeah.
Okay, so that story obviously is if you're as strong as Superman, like instead of just doing everything for good, you're going to do things sometimes. Like some people might just do it for bad. Like you have this superpower, so you're going to tell me a horny high school kid is not going to use it in a negative way, like so like the fact like so he's never used
cheerleader
it
tops fly off. Yeah.
Well, that was the movie Zapped with Scott Baio.
Oh, yeah. He was a scanner. He was a scanner.
He was the original scanner.
He was.
Oh man!
Oh, yeah. When
they made a sequel to that movie too.
They did. Oh yeah, isn't it Zap TOO?
And it's the blonde guy that's in was he in Charles and Charles also? Or he was in something like it's like a guy that was in tons of 80s movies, and I think he was on a sitcom. Yeah, I think it was him. But anyway.
Oh yeah. That and Splash 2. That'd be nice. One of those this year. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But so David goes to visit her at the hospital. She has a concussion, and I thought she was passed out because we saw her collapse to the ground, but she saw everything because she was like, "What happened to that man?" And he's like, "I don't know what happened." It's and at that point, I would like did she get thrown
or shot? What happened?
No, she gets sort of thrown when David throws the guy through the wall.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Because the guy goes through the doesn't he get? Yeah, one guy gets thrown into the wall.
Yes. One goes through the
other guy gets thrown into the glass, like in and out of every glass.
Oh, at the soda or whatever. The refrigerator.
Yeah, and then the last guy is the spine guy. I think that. So I think that's the one that was shooting people because and he threw down April. But
I thought she got shot. She didn't get shot?
No, she got
she got shot.
No, from when he pushed that guy into the wall.
So she has to stay overnight a few days because she has a
concussion. I know.
She was shot. She was shot. Yeah. I'm going to say she was shot because the guy was shooting everywhere.
But in the story, it was a concussion. That's what she said.
Oh, she does say it?
Yeah, she had a concussion.
Oh, okay. All right, you win.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think she was shot. And because she was fine. She was walking around normal in her apartment, like, with that cop that comes in to get soup, which we'll get into that.
That was weird. Okay.
Right. What a dummy that guy was.
She's in the hospital now. And, like, again, this is like where their relationship went from first date to, like, we've been married for a couple of years now. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
acting like literally. It's like it's weird. Like the relationship, and again, what they do in the hospital bed, is like and the fact that like the nurse walks in on them,
Yeah.
and then
Insane.
he uses his mind control. Get out.
Yeah. But it went
Okay.
from, oh, David, I'm remembering this terrible image of you ripping a guy's spine out. And him
Yeah.
saying, oh, I had these powers as a kid. I don't know what I was doing.
She's
Then
not
they
afraid.
kiss. And then they kiss.
She's not afraid. I know.
Yeah, she's not.
And she's not. You're gonna tell me you wouldn't be afraid of what you just saw, like that the power that this guy has, and
Scary.
clearly the anger that this guy has to rip
Yeah.
someone's spine out, and he's gonna say, "Yeah, I've been doing this all my life. I have this." Oh, okay.
Nobody ever
You're
dumps
okay
him.
with that.
Nobody
Oh my
ever
gosh.
dumps him because they're the fear of that, like seeing that somebody can do
Oh,
that. But no, this
yeah.
isn't when they spoon yet. This is when he like kisses her and he goes home, and then Forrester's waiting
Oh,
in
that's right, okay.
his house, right? In her
Which-
house. Oh no.
okay,
Oh,
no-
Forrester's in
no,
her
he
house,
go-
I think.
I thought he went to the office or something. He went somewhere. But my question was, how did Forrester get in there without him knowing it? Because they show him in the house or room doing something, and then Forrester was in the corner, sitting there.
Oh, I know.
and
I
he didn't
know,
notice
I
him
know.
there. So how did he not notice that he was sitting there the whole
I
time?
know. And this is David's place because I wrote, wow, David's place is nice,
Okay.
nice too.
Right.
And they're college students.
And Forrester was in the same room with him, and he didn't notice him.
I know.
Okay. All right.
And quickly somehow Forrester can convince him, and then he could, because within seconds he says, "Oh, we did to that man. I want to take you to this scientist who can do some testing on you." Then he explains what I just talked about before that I read from the Scanners Wikipedia, that it was from like a pregnancy medication. But like within seconds,
Okay.
he went
Within
with
seconds.
a stranger.
He has no idea who this guy is. He doesn't know he's a cop. Like he doesn't know anything about him, and you're you're willing to be strapped in and put medication in
Yeah.
you. Like you know nothing. Like he was. You're right. Within seconds. There's
But
no
again,
question.
like we always talk about, the bad guys usually mess up. And if you think about it, the bad guy sort of messed up, even though maybe what he had the mayor say instead of what she was supposed to say, maybe that would never have happened. And then he wouldn't have got to where he wanted to rank wise, I guess. But he saved David because within seconds, the creepy scientist is like, oh yeah, let's give him F2. Let's give him a couple doses of F2. And Forrester heard him and then still came in, and it was weird. He brought David there. And then he's like, whatever you do, David, don't take any drugs that he gives you. And I'm like, you brought him here. Just make him leave.
Why isn't David mind reading any of these people in here to find out what's going on?
Yeah.
Because again, you don't know anything. So like, just, I'm sure the doctor in his head is like, all right, just give him a couple doses and he's going to,
Yeah.
why is David not I feel like he doesn't use his powers sometimes when he needs to.
I don't get it either.
When he should.
Or it's like maybe because we're seeing this character that's so new at something, so he should be like kind of not good at doing his powers and like messing up sometimes. But no, it's weird because he's more powerful like in some of these earlier scenes. Like what he did, he ripped the guy's spine out like the first time he like fully used the powers. But when you have what's his name come in, the Neanderthal, he comes in within a second and he makes David's nose bleed. And it's like, okay. And then I'm like, oh my God. The fact that there's like a telekinesis fight in this part, and obviously throughout the movie, but this one, the first one is like, what is going on?
And you know what's funny? That's also a trope in movies where someone has that ability, because same thing happens at Firestarter. The guy that that he's always bleeding from the nose every time he uses his power. Except he doesn't make crazy faces. He just holds his, temple and does it. Where these guys just like they wrinkle their nose, like, and they make all these mouth. It's like their mouth, like it's the main bad guy. I can't like just imaging, having an image of his face in my head right now. It's just so weird. It's so his mouth is open wide and his eyes are open wide, and he's making like I wonder if the power would still work if he had his mouth closed. Like, will it be the same, or does he have to have his mouth wide open like
Less
that?
powerful.
You know,
He needs the airflow for some reason. But you're right. What a trope! Like 11 in Stranger Things.
yeah.
Nosebleeds.
And I think
the more she
I
does,
think it also
the
happens
more...
in Modern Problems with Chevy Chase. Same thing. I think it's always
really?
that thing where just when you're you ever seen Modern Problems?
No.
Oh,
I've seen the poster.
Nell Carter's in it. I mean, just give you an idea. Harvey Korman. Harvey Korman's in it.
Really?
Oh yeah, Bill Murray's brother. Oh yeah, he gets like toxic waste like spilled on him, and he gets all these powers, and he's trying to get back together with his ex, but there's someone kind of like blocking him, so he keeps like, oh yeah, it's a again, I remember watching as a kid. It's probably dated now, but oh yeah, it's called Modern Problems.
I gotta check that out.
You have to. It's Chevy Chase.
Man.
So
No. There's a lot of those Chevy ones that I haven't seen, like those random ones, and you're like,
Yep.
could this be good? But all right. But that guy comes in. They have like this telepathy fight, and then I don't know where David starts beating him, and it's like, what is happening? Like, so now they're like, okay, this guy's good. The other guy has to stay here now. Like the Neanderthal guy doesn't go out to do like, because they want to find. This scene's wild. Like they're gonna use him as like almost like a bloodhound, but of reading minds at the milk factory to try to find out who's poisoning the milk.
What? First of all, like with the mind battles. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know if this clip is gonna work. Oh, that's the end scene. I'll save that one for later.
Okay,
but
with these mind battles, wouldn't you want to hear like what they're doing to each other? Like, instead of making just the faces, like I just feel like it's missing something. Because to know like how is the other guy winning? What is he doing that's making him win? Like, I just want to know. I know. Like I just want to know what's the thought. Like I don't know. Like
what's going on? I agree.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, no, it makes zero sense, that whole like mind battle, because all they're doing is making like these different faces, like we talked about, like the same face over and over again, but you don't know what's going on. It's not like
you don't.
Is there like is there something fighting in between them?
It's almost like like make me laugh. Like you're gonna do this face, I'm gonna make this face, and whoever breaks first is the one that loses the battle. Yeah. Like it's but what's the point? Oh, you got it. All right.
So here's one, people that are watching, just to be able to this is the scene that we just talked about, like when they were going to get the pesto, but just to not show like the full 2 minutes of it, just for people that are watching. Okay.
Why did he take his mask off?
Yeah, I don't get that either. He showed who he was. He has like this little tiny shotgun, and then this is where David starts slamming him into the Pepsi.
Oh,
product placement. Like, man, well, who wants to be the soda that's in the Scanners 2 scene? Diet Pepsi.
Like, if he was smiling, would it still work? Because he's making like angry faces.
You know what he looks like?
If he had
Bill Collins.
He does a little bit.
Studio. It could be like a video of a Phil Collins video. But yeah, dude. It's wild. He's ripping the spine out of your back. Very, very wild. And then it just like sprays out, like there's that much pressure.
And the chunks of like brain that are just hanging there. You got to show, I mean, at least one clip of the guy's face. Because
I do. No, for the end, I have the final. Okay, I have the final like 1 minute battle. Yeah.
Okay.
No, so we'll get to that. No, but so David wins, and then but when he works at the factory, I wish I had that clip. That was wild. He's looking around, trying to read random people's minds, walking up to them, staring at them, and I love the one old guy was almost gonna be like, "What are you looking at?" He's like staring right back at him.
So, what is the point of the spoiled milk situation? Is it just a show that he can, find the guy, or like, because it doesn't play a part, does it? Like in the rest of the movie?
Well, It does not, but I think the purpose of it is, so obviously the other people are drugging them. The scientist is drugging people to try to get his control. But I think what Forrester wants to do is make him feel like he's helping out with the new order, like there's something good.
Okay.
So the first thing he has him do is something very good, stopping the guy who's killing kids. Like I think whatever, 5 kids died. So that's why in the convenience store there's no milk because of it. So nobody's able to buy milk in the whole city.
Wait, you noticed that? How'd you know
she
there was
asked
no
for milk? It
Oh,
said
she
no
did,
milk on the door and a big sign.
Oh,
And then she asked for milk and she's like, nope, no milk still. But when he finds the guy, how crazy is that? So the guy was pissed off because he was supposed to be made manager and he didn't get the promotion. So he thinks, let me poison people. Again, it's not like it was an accidental poisoning that it'd be like, oh shit, man, this milk manager, he's doing such a bad job. These are dirty milk jugs. Maybe that would get him fired. Not like, hey, somebody's poisoning the milk. I don't think the new manager is going to poison the milk.
yeah, but you know what though? That's something, unfortunately, in the world we live in. I mean, like for years, that you've had these crazy people try to. Yeah, I mean it's sick mind. I mean it's crazy that people, but that's probably the most believable thing in this whole movie is the guy doing that. So,
but he's able to say. I love when he catches the guy too. How long you worked here? And then he like. The guy's like, what? What do you mean? No. And then he's reading his mind. It's like this weird thing. God, and then and then how about when he goes see his girlfriend in the next scene? This is when they spoon. He's looking at her and like sort of reading her mind.
It made me think that he put thoughts in her mind, to act like that.
She's concussed. She's in a hospital. She's been by herself. Most likely not. People in that scenario aren't usually like doing great. Like mentally, but
he's doing her a favor because she's not supposed to go to sleep when you have a concussion.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
But yeah, it was like it was almost like a forced scene on his end, the way he was looking at her and like again putting again they don't tell you what is going on, but they're leaving the interpretation to the audience that like he was doing something. Like he definitely was doing something.
No,
I can't imagine someone thinking to do that if you're laying in a hospital bed. Obviously you're there for a reason. If that's what's on your mind, it wouldn't be. So he definitely did something.
No, he orchestrated this whole thing. He wanted to get down to it. But yeah, so then this is where he turns the nurse away with like he scares the crap out of her with some kind of mind control.
Yep.
And then we cut to the chief, the original chief that chewed out Forrester for his speech. The toothbrush that he's using is so large. It was like, because he's a big guy, his toothbrush is so big, and he's like, it's like
that's such an attention to detail.
It was didn't even know he brushed his teeth. It was just so weird the way he was doing it, and then he heard the sound in his attic. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be going upstairs in my attic. Like, what a weird thing. But grabs a gun, goes upstairs, and then we see, I think Peter's the guy's name, the Neanderthal looking guy. He sees Peter, which, what a bad name for a bad Peter. Hey, Peter, the bad guy. But Peter.
So you're saying Peter can't be a tough guy? Tough name?
We just lost 4 Peters. They just turned it off. They
wow. Okay.
No Peter slander in my life. But yeah, oh, dude. And then this scene's intense too. There's one thing I have to say is every end of scene in this movie, except like the dramatic ones, but they end on a bang. Every one, like the spine ripping out, like the blood chunks that we just saw like flying out.
I don't think you could end on a good note when a scanning like fight
that's true,
is involved.
But I mean more. Like,
no, of course,
awesome. When he makes the chief put the gun, he goes. He looks at him and he goes, "Put the gun under your tongue." And he's like,
"What makes the chief thinks that he?" First of all, like they do in every movie, they know this guy's crazy and what he can do. What is the chief doing that he thinks he can have a chance against a guy he's going to do some kind of mind control on you?
Yeah, just shoot him
within seconds. Shoot him right away. Like, why is he waiting? Because, like, telling him, all right, put your hands up or stop what you're doing the guy's going to use mind control. Like, again, these are the same people that tied him to a chair, not realizing that all his power is in his head. So
I would be like, I would shoot first, especially in this situation. Somebody's in your house. This isn't like you're walking to your car and somebody like is walking behind you and you get nervous. This is like,
and this guy's extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But when he's whispering everything, that's really creepy. And he's like, pull the trigger. And he's like, I said, pull it. And then you see the bullet holes in this movie are wild. This one, he shoots himself with that gun. I don't know if that was the Wildy from Death Wish 3, but he flew out the window.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think that's
insane.
possible. But the fact that why is he able to kind of struggle against the mind control? Because no one else in the movie did that.
Oh, you mean he wasn't trying to fight against it?
The chief, like he was fighting against the, like, you know, when he had the gun in his mouth, like you could see him struggling to do that. He should have done it in 2 seconds. Like the scanning, you know, like, because if his scanning is that strong to what he does at the end of the movie and throughout the movie, but now he just kind of like it's like weak scanning. Like he's like, you know, like because he had to say it twice. You know, you're not a badass scanner if you got to ask twice.
If you got to ask twice, you're not a badass scanner. You're right. Oh my god, man. So he blows blows brains out. He flies through the window. The Forrester shows up. So what's weird, it's like a lot of the movies that we cover recently when they're not as good. We talk about most of the movie and then we're trying to like play like, oh yeah, we talked about that. But this is when Forrester shows up. They just got done having sex. And then this is where he convinces them that like after the first thing, hey, you're gonna be a hero. You save people from getting poisoned from milk. The whole city can get milk. You're awesome. Now it's like, okay, the mayor's going to appoint this other guy.
Okay, wait, before you go any further, so if Forrest shows up, they're still laying in bed naked.
Yeah,
right?
You see his butt.
Yeah. No, but you're in a hospital room. Like, fine, you want to do like a Mile High Club in the hospital? Fine, fine, you do that. But you're gonna lay there now you're really gonna show off and like, hey, listen, this is what we did in the bed, and we're gonna stay here. Like, you would think that it would be quick, like do whatever you got to do, and then you're gonna get dressed like nothing happened, right? No, they're acting like it's their home.
David, man, mind control.
Okay,
he changed her. She's changed within 48 hours. Her mind.
Well, she was the one that was going after him first. So I don't think
she's
it took
getting paid by the new order.
Okay, all right.
That would make the most sense in this movie if they would have dropped it, or if her dad was Forrester, something like any of that would like, even though that'd be weird, it would still be something. But anyway, so this is where. Like I was just talking about, like, oh, you did a good thing saving the milk's good. Yeah. So when he goes to scan her, this is wild because he was like, oh, they're going to point this other guy and he's not good. He's not part of what the city needs. I need you to make her say my name. So the mayor goes up. She starts her speech and she does like the big, like, and that's why I'm going to appoint. And it was like commander or whatever. And then she stopped. And then said, so John Forrester as the acting chief. And then she like comes to after like his David made her say that. Wouldn't it just be like, guys, I was sick. I took medication.
I don't know why I said that something. Yeah.
Yes. There's no.
She does not go back on it. But unless when you get scanned, like the nurse that walked in on them in the hospital room, does your mind get erased and you just forget about it?
Maybe, but she remembered it because David says to her, because it would be embarrassing. It would be very embarrassing to be like, all right, guys, I said the wrong thing. So she has to live with it because when David sees her later in the movie and says, I know you didn't mean to say John Forrester's name. You wanted to. And she's like, how do you know that? Because I made you say that.
Right.
And it was oh.
Okay.
It's like,
right.
Especially if she didn't like this guy, maybe she didn't get the vibes of, hey, this guy's going to try to change the city in 4 days. But Jesus.
Well, and no one looked surprised at the press conference.
No,
like that she said that. Because you would think
the only one, right?
Yeah. Because you would think that everybody there would know that who she's appointing pretty much, right? Like, you know, like who the top candidate is. And the fact that, you know, she pointed him and it started like everybody was like, okay. Like, again, not surprised at all, you know.
But David is like learning his powers along the way because I feel like each scene he's using something different. So next is when, after all that happens, he goes back to the lab and he wants to like find out information. They're kind of like weirded out that he shows up at the lab, and he gets the guard to open the door by using his mind. And then David scans the commander and is able to find out that he's a bad guy from that. So he learned how to finally scan. So then it was like, oh shit, this works. And then that's when he has the dart gun and he's able to just get away by shooting the dart gun at the guys.
What's in it? So that was just a tranquilizer?
Yeah, that's all it was. Yeah. But yeah, when Deborah Raffing gets shot, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was comical.
So this is where he drives to his parents' house in the snowstorm?
Yeah. So this is when he leaves. Yeah.
So you mean he's driving a car that has a huge hole in the windshield in a big snowstorm. There's no way he's seeing through that thing.
I know.
And the fact, I was just saying that, like, first of all, the car driving in this movie, because there's a scene, I think, like when they're either chasing him or something, the cars are moving so slow.
Yep.
Like all the cars move so slow. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. And then even were you laughing when he calls her and says, that guy Forrester's a bad guy. And remember the puppy was really being it was like making like whining sounds. Like, this puppy knows that this guy's off too. Like, this guy's crazy. Like, if you heard all this, like,
maybe the puppy's a scanner. See, now it's a different movie. That's a much better movie now.
Yeah, puppy scanners. Puppy Scanner 7. Oh my God. That would be something. But yeah, so then he finally goes to, you said he went to his parents' house, and then we find the tech. Yeah.
Go ahead.
But then at the same time, again, he's got to realize, hey, I'm running away from kind of bad guys because of what's going on. Let me leave my
parents alone.
Parents alone.
Leave the girlfriend and the parents alone. Yeah. You're right. And yeah. Well, this is they needed that dramatic scene of him going off alone to make his thoughts, and again, it was like dramatic music, like it was just so ridiculous. But again, this scene did make me laugh when they told him the truth and he's like, "You're not my parents." Like, again, I mean, I don't think they could have looked any older. Like
his parents are really old.
Wait, you wrote that before you knew that they weren't his parents?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
In the order I wrote, David showed up at home and he passed out at his house. Remember, he got there and he fell asleep?
Yeah.
And then he gets woken up and it's his parents. And I wrote, his parents are really old. And then I wrote, whoa, David finds out he was adopted? Jesus.
So this guy just found out that he's a scanner, he's adopted, he he finds out he has a long lost sister. Like, I mean, like he has a hot
life
in this movie.
So it kind of,
that's true.
I guess I'm probably even out.
You're right.
But yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. And she at the same time has the heavy set detective show up with the creepy scanner guy, and they're trying to find out where David is. And how about when he stares at her and he's like, she doesn't know anything.
So stupid. So dumb. Like so dumb.
Like really.
Well, how about
she
the fact that
anything, but it is funny that he scanned her and like made that face like, damn.
But you had the cops that show up at the farm, the grandparents.
My God, dude, where's David? He's going to just have a moment like
how far away was he? I was gonna say, how far away is he? How big is his property? First of all, how far away is he? And then first of all, how'd they find him? The girl told them where he was. Is that how the cops found him?
I'm sure they know who his parents were. I'm sure they know.
I guess. All right.
Yeah,
but I like how they say the father's like, all right, now get off my property. And the car just starts slowly following.
No, dude. It was slowly going with him, and he was slowly walking.
At what point do you start running? I mean, you say get away, and there wasn't even a hesitation. Like, as soon as you started walking, the car started creeping.
I know.
It was like automatic.
It was the same speed, yeah. And then, honey, go upstairs.
The best part, he goes inside the house, but doesn't lock the door.
No, he doesn't.
He literally walked because the other guy just walked right in. When they came in the house. So yeah. All right.
Maybe that's the setup. You let him go, my God, the door's open. This is gonna be so easy. And then you're on the other side with the shotgun. But he missed the shot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, they showed like there should have been a better battle because there was guns. You know, they both had a gun, but
Yeah.
they did nothing. They got their butt kicked big time.
Oh,
Yeah.
the mom. Oh, that was
Oh.
rough. And what a way to end. What a way. So David like gets back to the house. His his mom's dead already. The dad is like barely dead, but then he gets there. The dad.
So why did they leave if they were there to look for David?
Because they're that bad that they're like, oh, he's not here. Couldn't they scan the parents and be like, oh, I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's somewhere on the property. Yeah, no, that made no sense too.
Okay.
Yeah, they
All
bounced right away. Especially
left
when
as
they
soon as they killed him.
linger for a little bit. Like the dad wasn't even dead yet. Wouldn't you like make sure that he's dead? It's not like there's people nearby that are going to hear it, but he can call the cops and describe them.
Well, the fact that the father was shot. Now, granted, he's a grandfather. He's old. He's shot. He's barely alive, yet he's able to tell a whole story to David about his life and his sister and everything else.
Yeah.
While he's literally about to die like any second. But he has enough in him, enough breath and enough life in him to tell him the full story of David and his sister. That's...
He's rehearsed that 30-second elevator speech for this moment.
He waited for his moment.
Get murdered in front of David, and I have 30 seconds
Oh
to
my
give
gosh.
it. But it was so sad, like when he's like, "You go check on your mother," and he goes up and he comes down and he gives like a sad look. And it's like, oh, that's depressing.
Okay. So and the father dies, and then they get him in the ambulance, the mom, and David says, "Let me take over," and the ambulance, the EMT is going to just move aside and let this guy take over. This is your job.
Yeah, he saves his dad with the.
His dad. I'm sorry, his dad was in.
Yeah.
Okay, but at first it wasn't working. So time is crucial when someone is shot. I'm assuming, and you know you have to get some work done. You have a professional EMT here, and the son. You're assuming that's the son, is obviously going to be in panic mode, and he says, "Let me take over." You're just going to move aside when from your job as an EMT and let this stranger that you have no idea what his skills are, and time is so important.
Yeah, can you think about that power that he just showed?
Yeah,
he saved somebody that was like bleeding to death from a bullet wound. Scanners should be like that. Should be like a service at a hospital.
Another thing, special ability they can do.
Yeah, they can bring people, but they can save them from death.
So they can hear people's thoughts. They can make people do things. They can make machines do things. They can heal people. They can bring people back to life. Like this, I mean, there's no end to what scanners can do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. And then from there again, he doesn't go to check on his girlfriend at all. She's still hooked on him. He goes directly to his older sister.
Well, he calls his girlfriend and he says, they just killed my mother. I just wanted to call to see if you're okay. He was very, like I said, he was very calm with that, and she breaks down crying.
I know.
After the call, why? Why did she break down crying?
What am I getting what did I get myself into? My mom always said,
"You know what?
Date a nice guy. Make sure he's normal." She's probably like, "I'm screwed."
Okay, wait a second. He wasn't normal from the beginning, so that's all on her. Like he was a weirdo from the beginning. So yeah, okay, all right. So now this is where we meet his sister.
Oh my God, yeah. She is such for somebody that's in bad movies. She's like a good actress. Like I don't know what she was in that she was like that she had a chance to show her real acting chops, but you're like, okay, I believe her. Like in this role. I guess I believe that she was into Paul Kersey in Death Wish 3 and like in Grizzly 2, Revenge. Like you believe her as these characters. There's in bad movies, except Death Wish 3.
Well, I think for the most part, when you're in one bad movie in the 80s, man, that's your
stuck.
Thing. You just but I don't think you even look at it as bad movies. I just think you're looking at it as work, and these are the movies I'm going to type of movies because clearly. They made enough money to make a third one, right? So,
I know.
But this relationship is so bizarre because they've never met each other. They don't know each other. One, they're acting as if they've known each other forever. And then that whole scene with the fireplace and like the mood with the lights off and it just seemed like they were hitting on each other or something. I was waiting for something to happen because that's what it seemed like it was leading towards.
Yeah. And you're right, like the dynamic between them, maybe because they're scanners, they can like somehow connect on some different level because they did have like a good good rapport. But I love when he looked at her in like an endearing look and like stared for like a little bit longer, and she's like, "Don't scan me. I don't like it."
And why was he scanning her? Like, that's weird. Why are you scanning your sister? I mean, but that was his
real, and it's not like a big.
Okay, what is he trying to get from her? Because again, he's scanning her in front of a fireplace. They're sitting down, like again in an intimate kind of thing, and you're staring at your sister. Like it was just weird.
It is weird.
There's no need to scan her.
Yeah. And then she reveals like her ex-boyfriend Walter, and like talks about the whole thing about the way the dad died and the mom died, and she was dating a guy named Walter that got hooked on that drug, and Walter's later in the movie. But we get like so much like in this movie, like not even like it's not like spread out. It's like in these little things. It's almost like they're okay. Here's all the plot. Here's a little more.
And it's
exposition.
like all drama stuff. It's like very like serious, like. And like, what was his sister doing all this time? Like with all this information and
Nothing.
everything else, she hiding out. No. What I mean is like all these years, because they're both in their 20s now. So like for 20 years, what has she been doing? Like, did she know she had a brother?
I'm sure she did because she wasn't like surprised. Like,
okay, so she had no care to find him. Like what was she doing?
Maybe the parents gave him up for like a specific. I don't know, but she was with her parents until like 10 years prior, and that's when her dad died, and her dad was killed by Forrester. And the mom was killed by Peter.
He didn't die.
What do you mean?
Wasn't that him in the? Wasn't he one of the scanners in the movie?
Their dad and mom.
That's what I thought. Wasn't it someone's dad? Like I thought it was their dad.
No,
one of the scanners in the movie was his dad.
Was David's dad and Deborah Raffen's dad?
I thought they did.
No, no, he died.
I could have sworn the one main guy, the one main scanner in the aquarium was his dad. I thought something like that. They found out or something.
No. Okay. Her dad, their dad was killed by Peter. I think Peter killed one or whatever it was, and then Walter, her boyfriend, got hooked on the drug when she was actually working in the lab and helping everything out.
There's one of the scanners at the end of the movie that has some kind of connection with them, and I could have sworn it was their dad. I'll have to do research.
No, Walter. Right. It was her boyfriend.
Oh, so he was the one in the aquarium.
Yeah,
Walter.
Her ex-boyfriend was.
All right, it's the same thing. The dad.
Yeah,
so he was a stepdad.
Yeah, that's the same.
Okay,
thing.
excuse me. It's a stepdad. So it's the same thing.
Who's stepdad?
Walter.
Walter is Deborah Rapper's boyfriend. David and
I thought it was the mom's. I thought it was the mom's like boyfriend after the dad died.
No, it was Deborah Raffen's. No. It was her boyfriend.
Wait, how did he become a scanner?
He was a scanner.
Yeah, how did he become a scanner?
I don't know.
So
like they don't. Scanners Anonymous, maybe.
So that just happened to. So she just happened to date a scanner, and she's a scanner. When they go to the scanner club, like like a singles club, and they just find all the scanners there, and you pick,
scan you.
That makes no
university.
sense.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, most of the movie doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That just makes it more dumb.
And then David has to leave, so this is where he's like, "I have to go. We're gonna go to my girlfriend," and she sends a "I love you" message, but telepathically.
Okay. So there's no distance when it comes to scanning. Like there's no like, it's not like walkie-talkies. Like if you go to certain miles, then the scanning doesn't work. It's like static.
Yeah,
like you just can't get
like
that. Okay. I mean, so clearly there's just no distance with that. And then their new power, again, we didn't even mention this one, is ridiculous.
Oh, we didn't get to that. That's not yet. That's later.
Okay. All right.
But
all
no,
right.
that is really ridiculous. It's really, yeah, it's very silly. That whole power is crazy.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so he gets back and his girlfriend can't leave her apartment. She's like stuck in there until, the Forrester allows her to leave. So then Forrester's going to run for mayor. David catches wind of this. So he goes to visit the mayor. And in my head, I'm like, how bad's the security there that they just let the mayor? I don't think I can go to my town and just be like, hey, you know what? I want to talk to the mayor. And they would say, hey, sir, come on in. There would have to be like an appointment, some kind of vetting.
Absolutely.
No. And the guy leaves this crazy looking guy in with the mayor. And
who
then,
the mayor doesn't even recognize herself, right? So, like, she doesn't know who he is.
Yeah. So, who are you? And then,
yeah.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
So then we talked, again, another thing we talked about earlier, because it made sense what we were talking about then. So she's like, oh, you knew that I didn't mean to appoint Forrester? And then,
Right.
Dude, that, again, talking about another person where they die, that bullet was massive. That her head exploded.
I didn't expect that to happen. So that was
and she was on the phone, right? Wasn't she getting ready to call someone? And it was like,
yeah.
Oh my God, dude. But how does he show her? How'd you like that part? That pack of cigarettes over there, which made zero sense. Why were there cigarettes in her office if she doesn't smoke? But then she says, oh, I don't smoke. But then he makes her smoke, and she's like shocked. I guess he lets go of his powers when she took a drag. And that's when she's like, I believe you. But it's like, why were they in there?
Couldn't he just like make the something fly across the room? You know, like, I mean, we're not showing it.
Something cool, yeah.
You know, yeah, like again, why were there cigarettes there?
Yeah, I know. She doesn't smoke, but why?
She doesn't smoke, but they happen to be there. So can scanners just like think of something and now that it's happened to show up?
Yeah, I know. It makes you. Oh yeah. Oh my God, that'd be crazy if he like imagined them to show
because,
up.
Again, if she doesn't smoke, but because he didn't smoke the whole movie, she doesn't smoke, so he wouldn't have
been like a
cigarettes.
secretary desk or something like that. But it was just so weird. And then here's my big thing: why, if they want to kill David, and they could probably sneak up on him, why would they have just fired through the window like that? It was late at night. The only guy was probably that old guy that let him in to see the mayor. Go in through the normal doors and walk in and shoot both of them. They just fire random shots in the dark.
But even that, so obviously they had a clear shot on the mayor. Why didn't they just shoot David?
That's what I mean.
The mayor.
They made
not even walking in though. I'm talking about the sniper or whatever.
David. Oh yeah,
choose David instead of the mayor. Like that.
Yeah,
that would clear like. So yeah, so that like because shooting the mayor without shooting David makes no sense. So you know, unless they're trying to frame David, which I think which is
no, that's what they do. You're right. That is what happens. Because then the news report is like David is sought for the murder of the mayor. Yeah, you're right. That's why. That's
not fixing the problem that you have, which is David.
Yeah.
Right. Because
shoot David,
even if anyone tries to arrest him, he's still going to get away because he's just going to mind control them. So you know, killing him would have been a smarter move.
Yeah. Oh my God. And this is when I talked about. So when he's like getting away and the motorcycle cops are following him, like I don't know what he's doing. Is he making the guys on the motorcycles not know how to ride a motorcycle? And that's why they're like
going so slow. First of all, they're going slow too.
Oh, so slow, but the way they're shaking the handlebars.
Yeah.
Was that them doing that, or was he shaking the bike? But I'm like, why didn't he just make them explode? He makes a car turn to hit like the stunt jump, but like,
well, he's not a murderer, although he does kill people pretty easily in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, he kills people. Oh, those cops.
He does,
but the car flip, the top of it squished all the way down.
But those cops technically aren't bad. He was just told that he's the one that killed the mayor. So I don't think he's trying to kill them. So
yeah,
and the people he killed in the beginning of the movie, I mean, were robbing a store.
Yeah. So you're
I think it's
justifying this.
I'm justifying it. Yes.
You're pro vigilante. David shouldn't see trial.
Hold on. I'm pro. Listen, after Death Wish, forget about it. You know,
that's
vigilante all the way.
Paul Kersey, yeah. So then we get another scan off because this is the part that again we talked about this a little bit earlier, but so he's able to make these cars move, motorcycles, everything, and then he goes into like a little tunnel, and they shine a flashlight in his face, and he's like frozen. He's frozen.
Well, that's like his kryptonite.
Yes,
so
he's just like the way he stops.
Well, you know why? Because the light you can't focus and make those faces because you're blinded by the light.
Revved up like
So
a doucher
flashlights, that's it. So all they need is flashlights focused on their eyes, and they can't make the face.
You know what? That is so true because he didn't move, and then Peter had the chance to jump off, and then they had like their little scan off for a little bit. And there's a line. Did you write down the line that Peter said? That might be the all-time. Maybe at this time it was a cool line to say, but I don't think so.
I don't
it's
think
almost it's almost like a bad wrestling promo from the 80s and 90s when they'd be like, "I'll bite your ass." Like they'd say these weird things. He wrote, "I'm gonna suck you dry, pretty boy." The Peter said to David.
Okay. First of all, that doesn't seem like a tough guy kind of response. That sounds kind of
it's
sexual.
Weird. Oh no,
it's
definitely
weird.
Sexual. Yeah.
Right. So if I'm him, I'm like, really? Like, ew.
Yeah.
That's not like a tough guy kind of response. So like, he definitely has to work on that.
Oh, I know. So then, but then they get all distracted because Deborah Raffin comes out of nowhere and crashes into the car, which throws them all off. And then she's able to, he jumps in with her and they get away.
How does she know where they were?
Well, what do you mean? Scanner.
So Scanner has GPS.
GPS.
Too? Yeah. So scanners could do
a
lot of things.
New rule.
Clearly, they have a GPS. They know exactly where to go for everything. Okay.
When they were pitching this movie, like whoever wrote this, like maybe it was like two buddies or like when they got to this point and they're like, "What are we gonna do yet?" Or the producer's like, "Yeah, I love this part, but how can they do this? They could always do that."
Well, that's I'm thinking like they have the idea of a scanner and then they're like, what else can they do? Well, we'll figure it out as we go along, then like and like you said, like, can they do that? Then they both look at each other, scanners. So then you just and that's it. Like, so everything is just scanners. They could do something else because the more the movie goes on, the more you're finding out that they are able to do way more than just read people's minds or make them explode.
Oh my God. And then the cop, and then they're getting away, and then we cut back to the girlfriend. But she's making the soup. And the fact that, and then on the news, it comes up like, oh, David they want to get him.
Yep.
But
so
the fact that the cop,
what is the cop doing there?
I don't know. He's like sitting on the, he's supposed to keep her in.
That's
what?
Why
she's there.
Because
though? Forrester doesn't want her he wants to keep her as bait for David. So if she's there and David wants to see her, they know where he's going to go. So it's like easier. So she's trying to she's kind of bait.
Yeah, but that doesn't come into play at all.
Well, it doesn't because she gets out.
So
it kind of foils the whole thing. But the fact that he goes over, hey, do you want some soup? And he's like, yeah, sure. I love some soup. And he freaking turns when she.
Okay. If you're a henchman, you're not having social, if you're a good henchman, you're there, you're taking it serious, and you're not letting that person out of your sight, right? You're not saying, I'll have some soup. Soup? You're on the job. Your job is to focus on this girl, and you're gonna let your guard down like that? Yeah. Ridiculous.
But the fact, again, she barely knows this guy, and she's believing him that he really didn't murder the mayor, and she's killing a cop, burning a cop's face.
She's in love. She's in love.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like, she really doesn't know him. I mean,
at all.
She doesn't. And then
phone calls. After this point, after all that shit went down, they had that one night, which I'm sure they talked when they were having sex.
But think about everything.
Phone calls.
Okay, so but besides that, since she's met him, there was a guy murdered in the subway. Right there, they were there. She saw him pull a guy's spine out. She had a concussion. His parents both got murdered. Like, how many more signs you got to see that maybe this relationship is not for me? And I got a creepy cop that's just at my house, probably waiting to kill me.
Yeah,
Okay,
crazy love. Love is love. You can't deny it.
Okay.
So Deborah Raffin at this point is what you alluded to earlier, like the most ridiculous scene. Like, she's like, Dad taught me this. So you have to get behind someone's eyes.
first of all, wouldn't she have? Why is she waiting to say, like, when she first met him? Wouldn't you think she says, all right, now that we met, here's all the scanning tools that we
Here's
can
the
use.
tips and tricks.
Here's all the
how
tips
to-
and tricks.
yeah.
Like either give him time to practice or at least know. And no, let me wait until we have to do something to tell you how to, and teach you on the way. Like, ridiculous, But the fact that
It's silly.
they can scan inside now and follow it's a camera.
It's like VR. Yeah, they basically control. But the best was
VR.
when he was going into her body, and she's like, "Ooh, not so hard." Okay, lower, and then they were able to control him. But he's like laughing when it's working, and he's like, "Oh, he doesn't even know I'm doing this."
They were I didn't know they were controlling him. I thought they were just watching, and so you could go there.
They were controlling him. What do you mean? You think the lieutenant was just going to go in there and start throwing people around? He's not a scanner.
Yes,
David was somehow getting his powers.
Okay, so then this whole part. So one, if you're able to control them, you can also hear what's going on.
Yes,
from where you are. I could probably see the seeing, but how do you hear then? And two,
they use their ears, I guess. I don't know.
Was David the top half of the body and she was the bottom?
Oh,
they were both.
That was weird. That was weird when she was into it too. So maybe that's the more power. Maybe the more people.
It was all of me. One's controlling the right side, one's controlling the left side. Yeah. Because they didn't explain that either. Because their eyes were both that color that changed, and they were both in there, but they didn't explain why they needed two.
Yeah, it was so bizarre. It was ridiculous. Because she was when they were looking at each other and they're like, "Whoa, that was weird." I'm looking at myself. What do you have, a mirror? Yeah, it was so bizarre.
Well, but it also, David. It seemed like David felt pain when the guy got tossed or something happened to the guy.
No, he definitely felt something.
Yeah, so you could feel pain too when you do this.
New rule.
So ridiculous.
Oh yeah, they can always feel pain. But how about you would know that something's up? The guy's eyes were so cloudy. They weren't even cloudy because he had allergies or something on his eyes. It looked like a cloud was on his eyes.
Yeah.
It was grayed out.
He wasn't talking, right? He was just walking.
No,
I don't think he was
talked. No, he talked.
He was.
No, he definitely talked. It was just very small sentences, nothing crazy. But even the guy that was the security guard at the desk, he was oh, this is kind of weird. But he was supposed to be there anyway because the scientist was sort of expecting him in a way. It was just bizarre. The whole scene, man.
Oh my gosh.
And what he does to him, they scan him. Deborah is one who does that because David stops him. He's like, "Stop it, stop it." But that was the movie The Fly. That's what it reminded me of when there was the bad. I don't know if it was The Fly 1 or Fly 2, but I think it was the second one. But when they got the guy, the scientist, the evil scientist, injected with everything, first of all, who stores needles facing
sticking up like that?
No one.
No one. That makes no sense. Yeah. How you going to I mean, first of all, you're going to contaminate it completely. It's
100%.
Yeah.
This whole movie is so many violations,
and you wonder why they all the fishbowl people look like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just maybe start looking how you carry goods.
If the needles are the other way, then those guys would be normal. They have their hair and everything.
Yeah, okay. Well, they clearly don't care about safety, so
Oh my god! But when he gets all the needles into him, and he makes that face at first, no joke. My first thought was he's wearing a bulletproof vest right now. I'm gonna scream because he made this weird look. But then when his hair started falling out, his face started drooping.
I was thinking mask, the mask, and I thought he was going to come up be this powerful thing with all that stuff. Because he stood straight up and just started brushing off the needles. I was like, all right, something's happening to this guy.
Yeah.
Well, something does happen, but yeah.
Something does happen, yeah. So then Deborah sees Walter, and she's like, oh, man. But then this is where we see...
Another battle,
their little battle. Which it was pretty cool to see him control somebody
Look at
else.
his face. I can't.
Oh.
Kurt Russell. Look at his face.
Yeah, he's
I
crazy.
can't take him. I can't take him.
A lot of zoom ins. Again, it's supposed to make you uncomfortable, and he's very uncomfortable.
He's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's just tossed. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, David's feeling this, man. He's getting tossed, and why are all the TVs broken?
So why doesn't David go into the mind of this guy? I can't take this guy. Such an overactor.
Oh, you're talking about to him? Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, but they
Yeah,
just
why
had
is it-
powers. They just used
You don't
their
think he looks
powers
like,
5 minutes ago?
You don't think he looks like Kurt Russell,
A little bit, yeah.
David?
Yeah, a little bit.
Such a
But
famous
he uses-
scene. This is
he uses
such a famous scene.
powers 5 years, like 5 minutes ago. They used the
know.
powers to make the doctor fly into the thing.
I know.
So why didn't he just use it when they saw them for the? That looks cool.
Correct. And why are they out of breath?
Because they're using their brain, I guess.
Oh, it's
for
so
it.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So ridiculous. But
Yeah,
that-
no,
that's
is-
such a famous scene. Like I've seen that scene so many
Well, the
times.
scanners
like
one,
different-
yeah, that scanners.
Oh,
brain.
that's
I
in
don't
the
know
first
if that
like-
one.
No,
The
no, but
first one has
I
that
feel
effect.
like. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, Michael Ironside makes the guy next to him explode. So that was like the big scene from that first movie. But no, that one looks so good. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, his fingers look like burnt hot dogs. You know, like that are exploded after you put them in water and then yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But now they have to go in. So Deborah and David go in. And I do like a few of the things they did. I love when they turned the two guys on each other. That was pretty awesome. When the two security guards start shooting at the one is turned and shooting. Then I was like, hey, what are you doing? And then he murders him.
Wait, is this the guy that was spinning around? Is this a scene where
Yeah.
the one guy was spinning?
Well, the
so-
spinning around guy was the guy that shot her with the darts. So that was when they
Yes,
first
yes,
got
okay.
in there. But the two
Yeah,
guys
okay.
outside shot
Yeah,
each
yeah,
other
yeah,
and
yeah,
died.
yeah.
But no, the dark
Oh,
guy shoots Deborah, and then David's pissed, so he makes him keep spinning and spinning and spinning,
It's just so
and then
dumb.
flying to the wall.
But see, like that made it very silly. Like, I mean, obviously the movie's silly to begin with, but haven't you seen the guy spinning around like that? Just took away from the I guess is this considered a horror movie? I mean, like it's sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like those like comedy horrors, but they just label it as horror. I know
yeah,
there's
it
not
was
comedy
no
in it.
comedy, but
Yeah.
that scene of him spinning was like so cheesy.
Silly.
Like it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was silly. So okay.
And David leaves his sister there. He's like, hey, we're off in a little bit. And he's like, ready to go. He goes. And then at the same time, this is when, who even calls? Oh, it was one of the scientists that was still alive. Calls and lets the commander know, a Forrester, hey, there's something going on. And he's like, all getting dressed up. And he's like, oh, I got to do some mayor interview. It's like, whoa, man, this guy is not wasting any time. Like, he doesn't care at
And
all.
again, it's literally like 2 days. So like he doesn't waste any time. Yeah.
And then this is where we get the mind fight when they're kind of just looking at each other. Like there's like barely any movement. We just see some really cool special effects. And then we get all the other guys in the fishbowl. Walter's like a big one that helps out. They're all using it. And they turn the Peter guy into like the Chevy Chase skeleton from Christmas Vacation. Like,
it was but the fact that they had that power all that time, like why did they never use it?
I know. It's
Were
like again, David was in there, so maybe
I know.
like more together. There's like collective power. But it was so weird. He gets thrown through the window. Peter pulls him through the window. That was actually pretty funny when Peter from the outside pulls him down into the thing. But it was just so bizarre that now we all have this power. Like these guys that couldn't even move, they were in the fetal position.
They were walking around
Now
like
they're
they were
out there.
zombies the whole time, and then okay.
God, man. But yeah, the cool effects. Again, it was weird that why does he have green blood? What's his name's Peter's corpse. No reasoning, but it was cool. It was like the wrinkling of the skin every time they cut back. It was really cool transformations.
It's so weird. It was just so weird, like what they were doing, and the fact that like he decided not to kill him, and then he was looking like that. Like that was just like that's how he would have lived the rest of his life, looking like that. You're talking about, but like, how does that happen? Also, like, for as a scanner, like what?
They're like cooking them. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know what. Okay, but it's like,
There's
like
no-
Play-Doh. Like you become like Play-Doh because it like mushes the face and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely bizarre. Like whatever they're doing, at least they have, even if they don't even have direction from the script, the special effects like look so cool. But how about when Forrester finally shows up and it's almost like an ambush with the reporters? Somebody like called and tipped them off because the one lady who was like giving was gonna do that interview with him from like earlier. She shows up, another crew shows up, and they're like oh my god, dude, they're like all over me. Is it true that you're using what's called scanners to do this thing? Like,
Well, what are they thinking when they see everything?
they have to think like, what the hell is going on? And it's getting even crazier when they have this guy that says, "Oh, none of that's true, none of that's true." He starts walking away, and then David shows up, and David starts scanning him and making him talk, and he's like, "Argh." And then he's revealing the plan. I had the chief killed. I had the mayor killed. And he's like, I'm like, are they taking this as like this is like gonna hold up in court? Like it's like somebody saying uncle, say uncle.
Absolutely. He clearly, and again, like in the beginning of the movie, no one seemed concerned because it clearly looked like he was having a seizure or something, right?
Yeah.
Like so, like you would think like they would say like what's going on. They thought this is like actually a normal way to speak and act.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then he admits it. The other guy that was supposed to be the original chief shows up. He's getting ready to arrest him. And then Forrester goes to grab a gun real quick. He's getting ready to shoot them. And then that's when he starts to do the full scan on his body. And then, like you said, like, what does he look like?
It's weird. It's just weird how they did that. And like, I get it, but like, what is the scan like? Is it just like molding the body together, the skin together? Like, it just doesn't like the fact that he looked like that. I mean, again, it was all deformed in his face and like, I don't know.
And he left him. So that's worse than killing someone because he has to live with that thing. Like, you're like, oh my God, like, because he stops.
Yeah.
It's like, man, he has to.
He had a conscience.
Like
he had a conscience then.
Yeah, it's probably like, kill me.
Can you have a conscience after you kill about 15 people? Like at that point, can you you're like, you know what? I killed too many people as it is. Let's just let this one live.
Let's let the bad guy live. Not like the
worst of the worst
doing their job that I have to. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
God. And then so his sisters with Walter, and they do. They have their little like each are together at the end. Then we have the weird moment. They're behind each other's eyes at the end of the movie.
Weird.
And that was the end.
Why? I know. Weird.
Oh my God. I can't believe we talked for over 2 hours for a movie. I think is all the sidetracking we did, which is wild. But yeah, so that was Scanners 2, A New Order. I think I know your answer to this, Jamie. And I think we crafted while doing this, like a movie that like could maybe possibly not be like work and be perfect, but if she was involved, it would have at least made some kind of twist because there was no twist in this movie.
No,
like
nothing.
Especially for a big secret of like, ooh, you're part of this crazy thing. It's like, nah, nothing really crazy. Like, or even if Deborah Raffin was in on it and set him up, something.
No, I agree. I mean, but honestly, I don't think it would have made a difference. I mean,
no, it wouldn't have. It ultimately wouldn't have.
I think part of the problem is that the main guy and the main bad guy and David both are horrible actors. And I think, they overdo their stares and their faces. And I think that's part of the problem. I think if you have maybe a better actor in both those roles, maybe it works better. I couldn't get past the facial expressions and that because you see it throughout the whole movie. And there are times when you're seeing it for like 5 minutes straight, you see David's face and you see the other guy's face and you see David's face. And it's like, and it drags and it's just like so bad that I just think it's, even like at the end when you saw David's eyes, like the clip you showed, like it kept, the camera goes back and forth. And it just like, to me, it's like, if you just had a better actor in both those roles, it might've been better. I just didn't buy it.
Like I agree.
And I think that's what it is. But yeah, there's better 80s horror movies. I mean, this one's not good. I mean, you know what? go to YouTube and type in Scanners 2 kills. You'll see a 3-minute clip of the kills. That's worth watching.
And they're good. Like all of them, I
said they're worth
100%
watching,
love.
but not sit through the whole movie.
Yeah, no.
It did take me 2 nights to watch the movie. So
it took me 3 nights, three times. I think I started on Saturday.
yeah.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, no, it was in.
So
because
my guess is
yeah.
No, no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because we're over 2 hours. I wanted to just let you know the opening scene of the third movie.
Oh,
because I just did a quick let me go to 3 minutes in.
Yeah,
it's like a rich party. It looks like people like mid-20s, late 20s, all like drinking wine at a party, and there's people scanning each other like for fun. They're like the two guys are like scanning, having a scan fight, like laughing about it. I don't know I have no idea how much of it is surrounding that, but I watched for like 30 seconds. I'm like, no way.
I'm going to avoid trying to find someone for that movie. So, but I was going to say, I know. I mean, after watching this movie, I know we can only go up from here. So I'm sure the next movie. So I'm sure the next movie is going to be fantastic.
And it's a full moon movie, so it's probably not that good. Gingerdeadman 2, the first one became like this cult classic of the full moon horror movies because they got Gary Busey to do the voice, and it became one of those movies. Oh, and then they made a million of these. But so we're doing Gingerdeadman 2, and this is gonna be something.
It's called Gingerdeadman.
I hope so.
Oh,
yeah, Gingerdeadman 2.
Okay, is it Gary Busey voice now or pre-accident?
No, he's not the voice in this one. They got somebody else. Only in the original, he was the voice. Yeah.
Okay.
Something, right?
So do I? I'm gonna make a prediction that this movie is gonna. It's going to be close to the last few movies that we've been watching lately.
Yeah, I would think so. So we have a choice, and this is the first time we've ever done this while we're in there. So there's 2 Gingerdeadman movies. The second one is called Passion of the Crust. The other one is Gingerdeadman 3, Saturday Night Cleaver. I think I would go Saturday Night Cleaver.
I agree. Okay, good.
Yeah, all right.
There we go. Winner.
And our guest for it is actress Junie Hoang, and her character in that movie, Sandy. She has so many credits over the years. She has some really cool roles that she's worked on. A lot of like reenactment. She's on like 1,000 Ways to Die, Operation Repo. She told some cool stories about these shows that I knew they're not real reality shows, like a show where they're repoing people's cars. But she told me like how fake they are. And I was pretty shocked. So, yeah, she was a lot of fun. We talked about horror. She's a huge fan of horror. She, at a young age, this is like something she wanted to do, and she's still doing it. She's done some cool things like voice acting roles. She's the voice of Chun-Li in the Street Fighter 2 cartoons.
That's
from
awesome.
Mid-90s. But no, so definitely a fun chat. And then Saturday Night Cleaver. I remember she did do 2 of them. And I remember that was the name that definitely caught my eye. So yeah, that'll be fun. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast, follow us on all social media at Sequels Only, and don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.